Good morning and welcome to everyone here on the venue in Sabaudia and all of those of you listening in online at home on worldrowing.com. I'm Julian O'Mara, together in the tower with Luca Brogini. We have a fantastic commentary crew also out on the water at the 1,000-meter mark, Camilla Hadland and Giuseppe Antonucci. And at the 1,500 meter mark, Tim von Vliet. So we'll be bringing you all of the racing here in Sabaudia throughout the entire day. We start with the D final of the men's single sculls at 9:30, but we make our way all the way to A finals already this morning.
Buongiorno a tutti, buongiorno Sabaudia, siamo già in diretta non solo dalle acque del lago di Paola ma anche su worldrowing.com, la casa del canottaggio mondiale, insieme a voi per questa seconda giornata della Coppa del Mondo, una Coppa del Mondo che dopo 43 anni riporta il canottaggio internazionale a Sabaudia. Le condizioni sono veramente eccellenti, tra meno di 4 minuti inizieremo ufficialmente la nostra giornata che vedrà tra le altre cose, a partire dalle ore 11:30, l'assegnazione delle prime medaglie, seppur in barche non olimpiche, ma che comunque daranno grandissimi gioia all'Italia. Abbiamo tantissimi equipaggi, uno in ogni singola finale A, e quindi qui vedremo veramente una bella valanga azzurra.
So Luca, we go on this afternoon to some A finals already here in Sabaudia. Italy's quite good at lightweight sculling, lightweight rowing. So are we going to see some Italians on the podium this morning?
This is a really good question. I was just saying that in Italian to our Italian spectators and Italians that are listening us on worldrowing.com. As I was saying, we've got an Italian crew in every single race. So lightweight women's single, then lightweight men's pair, and moving on to the rest of the finals. I'm sure there will be a big battle between the Netherlands, because I know you and, well, the team is really good as well. So we have to keep an eye on them as well.
Yes, definitely. I think a lot of these Dutch crews are coming from clubs, some different composite crews from the Netherlands in these lightweight categories and these international boat classes that we have racing the A finals this afternoon. So it'll be really interesting to see how they match up with the Italian speed.
Will be really, really interesting to see, and I'm sure we will enjoy these races during the day. As you can see, we've got Monte Circeo as a background on this spectacular new course. Is another new course for World Rowing, and I'm sure we'll be back here in Sabaudia.
I hope so. It's a fantastic place to be. A very interesting, different landscape here in a dune near the coast in southern Italy. So really fantastic to be here in Sabaudia. The conditions are looking beautiful, and we're just about 2 minutes until we get started with the D final of the men's single sculls. Up first this morning, the D final of the men's single sculls.
Ritorniamo in italiano, questa è la prima finale di giornata, la finale D del singolo maschile.
Inline run representing Zimbabwe, Stephen Cox. In lane 2 representing Sweden, Eskil Borg. In lane 3 representing Israel, Danny Friedman. And in lane 4 representing Peru, Alvaro Torres Macias.
4 nazioni a lottare in questa finale D. In acqua 1 lo Zimbabwe, in acqua 2 la Svezia, in acqua 3 Israele e in acqua 4 Perù.
And they're underway in the first final of this morning, the D final of the men's single sculls. These athletes competing for those places 19 to 22 here in Sabaudia. And a very nice start there directly from the Israeli sculler Danny Friedman. Danny's actually a local. He trains up in Gavirate near Varese. And so he's out here in Sabaudia getting out to a fantastic start just ahead of Sweden and Zimbabwe.
Una partenza veramente interessante. Con i mezzi tecnologici abbiamo avuto la possibilità di sentire anche la viva voce della nostra giuria in partenza. Partenza sicuramente eccellente per l'atleta di Israele, Danny Friedman, classe 1988, non qualificato per i giochi di Tokyo, ma comunque molto forte fuori dai blocchi per le posizioni dalla 19esima alla 22esima assoluta.
As these athletes get into their racing rhythm, it is Peru who's making the best of this very early stage in the race, getting out to a slight lead. Torres Macias, he raced back in 2015 for the last time. He came 27th in the men's double sculls, but he's back out here on the water here in Sabaudia, just getting a slight lead ahead of Danny Friedman, but they're going just stroke for stroke as they come up towards about 400 meters.
Ci avviciniamo ai 400 metri, siamo pronti al primo passaggio e le posizioni iniziano a delinearsi. Bella l'azione dell'atleta israeliano Danny Friedman che riesce di fatto a portarsi in testa questa sfida, ma attenzione sicuramente anche al Perù. È bello vedere che questo atleta in acqua 4 sia ritornato a gareggiare a distanza di 5 anni dall'ultima sua partecipazione comparsa internazionale. Quindi abbiamo Israele e Perù per la prima e seconda posizione.
Coming across 500 meters, and it is just Israel's Danny Friedman just ahead of Peru, but this little battle has taken them a bit farther away from Sweden and Zimbabwe. So we'll head out on to the course for the first time this morning. I'll take you out to Camilla Hadland to take us through the middle section of this race, Camilla.
Thanks very much, Gillian. And yes, gorgeous conditions out here at the 1,000 meters. We were just saying how flat the water is, and some small spots of rain actually, which means that it's just creating that really nice calm water. But as these four scullers move towards us now, it's still Danny Friedman of Israel that sits in the lead, but it's still the Peruvian Alvaro Torres Macias hot on his heels. He's not letting that lead slip away that easily. Alvaro Torres Macias of Peru, second at the Americas qualifiers for the Tokyo Olympic Games, so he will be heading to the games on the Sea Forest Waterway come July. But it's Danny Friedman still with a length now over Peru. It's in a really tight race over on the far side of the lake from us here at the 1,000 meter marker between Zimbabwe and Sweden. They're almost bow ball for bow ball. Stephen Cox, the man from the UK Armed Forces, in fact, here representing Zimbabwe and the holder of the Zimbabwean 2K record, has just got the advantage over Sculls of Sweden. He's a representative of Stockholm Rowing Club, but he sits back in fourth by one length.
Grazie, buongiorno. Intanto ecco siamo vicini a passaggio ai 1.000 metri con ormai conduce nettamente il Perù, il nostro Alvaro alla grande, seguito da Israele. Posizioni che si vanno man mano delineando, siamo alla prima del nostro programma finale D. Vediamo questi quattro concorrenti, ormai hanno assunto una posizione quasi lineare con Israele a condurre sul Perù con Zimbabwe che segue diciamo a distanza per le prime tre posizioni.
So still Danny Friedman of Israel with a length, the 33-year-old, just at a slightly lower rate of striking. He's down at 32 strokes a minute in comparison to Torres Macias of Peru, who's got a little bit more of a sharper style. He's a little bit of a smaller athlete, so needs to get that stroke rating up. He's at 35 strokes a minute in second, which would give him 20th place overall. It's then another length back to Zimbabwe's Cox, and then a further length back to Sculls. It's a very processional race. Just one length separating each of the positions from 19 to 22 in this D final of the men's single sculls. And as they move away from me here at the 1,000 meter marker, they'll be moving towards Tim van Vliet at the 1,500.
Thanks, Camilla. Thank you very much for that lovely introduction. Yes, I'm here at the three-quarter stage of the race, and it's a bit processional, as you mentioned. It's a very good race from Danny Friedman from Israel. He's extended his lead in the third 500 meters of this race, and he looks really comfortable, just tapping it along at 33 strokes a minute. And a little look to his left to see what Stephen Cox from representing Zimbabwe is doing, the former Harvard University rower who is trying to get past the sculler closest to me, the sculler from Peru, Torres Macias, who is in second position in this D final. He's a little over a length back from Danny Friedman, who is leading this D final here at Sabaudia, and it looks like he's going to cruise home to victory in the D final. Fourth is Eskil Björk from Sweden. He's overrating most of the field at 36 strokes a minute, trying to claw back some of the deficit that has been built up in the previous 1500 meters, but it's looking like a very nice race here. Perfect conditions. It's a mill pond. We have a bit of a cloud, so not the sunshine we had yesterday, but in terms of rowing, the water is perfectly flat. There is no wind, so it's great racing here as they come towards you, Gillian, in the finish tower.
Yes, they're just approaching that red buoy marker line, the 250 meters to go here in the D final of the men's single, and it is still Danny Friedman out in the lead.
È bello, bello davvero questo atleta israeliano che di fatto è anche molto di casa qui a Sabaudia, perché per tanti mesi si è allenato anche qui. L'obiettivo è quello di continuare a costruire questa progressione verso il traguardo. C'è sette di riscatto per Danny Friedman, atleta israeliano. All'esterno però il Perù continua ad attaccare. L'obiettivo è quello di rientrare per la 19ª posizione assoluta. La vittoria di questa finale Dima e Israele lì davanti a rullo compressore verso il traguardo.
The stroke rates are coming up as they come into the final sprint here, and Danny Friedman just holding off the charge there from Peru's Torres Macias as they come up towards the line. Then they'll be followed by Zimbabwe, I think, and Sweden, but a nice little tussle there for these positions in the D final as they come through towards the line. Danny Friedman just striding out slightly as he raised his rate there just to get a bit more advantage. Coming across the line now, taking 19th overall here at the World Cup. He'll be followed by Alvaro Torres Macias of Peru, and then Stephen Cox of Zimbabwe and Eskil Björk of Sweden.
Sul traguardo abbiamo quindi la conferma, ecco gli atleti stremati che vanno così a chiudere il loro percorso con la vittoria di Israele davanti al Perù, terza posizione per lo Zimbabwe.
On the course now, the C final of the men's single sculls. In lane 1 for Norway, 2, Peter Miretufte. In lane 2 for Great Britain, Jack Burns. In lane 3, representing Finland, Joona Karinen. In lane 4, representing Italy, 1, Simone Martini. In lane 5, representing Egypt, Ibrahim Elbana. And in lane 6, representing Hungary, Christoph X.
Finale C del singolo maschile, la prima finale che vede tra le altre cose un azzurro impegnato, un azzurro in gara, quindi Norvegia in acqua 1, Gran Bretagna in acqua 2, Finlandia in acqua 3, l'Italia con Simone Martini in acqua 4, in acqua 5 l'Egitto, in acqua 6 l'Ungheria.
Well, I think the Italians will be excited to know that Simone Martini is just taking the lead as they come up towards the 900-meter mark, Camilla.
Yeah, I love watching singles races like this. Overlap between all 6 crews in this C final. And you're absolutely right, Simone Martini just taking the lead as we speak, coming into the 1,000-meter marker. His Baubel will most likely go through first. But a bit of a disappointment to see him here in this C final. It's the young Gennaro De Mauro that we'll see in the AB semi-final later on. And demoted here to the C final. Martini will be worrying about his Tokyo dreams on the line, but he sits half a length up now on the early leader, Joona Karinen of Finland. It's then over in lane number 2, Jack Burns of Great Britain, who was rowed through yesterday in that repechage in order to be put into this C final. He'd have been disappointed not to get that spot on the line, but he sits in 3rd place. It's then very tight between Tufte, Albana and Axe of Norway, Egypt and Hungary respectively.
Bene, siamo oltre i 1000 metri, vediamo con la presenza del nostro Simone Martini, peccato di vederlo in questa finale C, ma ahimè purtroppo i giovani calpestano tutti pur di arrivare a raggiungere il loro obiettivo. In questa circostanza vediamo Simone Martini che ha qualificato l'imbarcazione per Tokyo, ma si trova in questa finale C e portare al comando, in concludere quantomeno con tanto rispetto il suo valore nei confronti qui degli diretti avversari, con Finlandia e Gran Bretagna a seguire per le prime 3 posizioni. Siamo agli ultimi 750 metri.
So it was still Martini leading the way, but I think a really concerted effort I spied from Jack Burns, the Edinburgh University Rowing Club member, that now just accelerated into second place and is the fastest moving boat on the course, coming for Martini, Tim.
Yes, Camilla, he's just a canvas back to Simone Martini from Italy, who has led for most of this race, or at least in the middle part of this race. And it looks a small look to his left from the hometown favorite Martini to see what Jack Burns is up to, and he's going to have to pay close attention to the Great Britain sculler, because the sculler from Great Britain is definitely moving. It's quarter canvas at the 1500 meters, very little between them, and behind them there's a lovely fight for the minor places between Petter Tufte from Norway, Naukarinen from Finland, and the Egyptian sculler Elbana, who are in a very close tussle for the places 3 to 5th, and the closest to me for my commentary position, Christoph Ax in 6th position. But a lovely tussle developing as they come towards you, Gillian, for 1st and 2nd. Will it be Jack Burns from Great Britain, or will the hometown favourite claim the win in this C final?
Oh, right now, Tim, I think the speed is with Jack Burns of Great Britain. He's got up to 35 strokes a minute as they're charging towards the line. He has that slight advantage over Simone Martini, but let's see what happens as they come towards the red buoys.
Ci avviciniamo sempre più a queste boe rosse. Adesso si deve cambiare marcia. Simone Martini potrebbe prendersi la rivincita, cerca ancora di andare ad agganciare, ma in questo momento si fa pericolosa l'azione anche della Finlandia, che prova in tutti i modi ad avvicinare l'azzurro. Guardate che bello all'esterno, ancora Simone Martini che aggancia, classe 1988, la voglia di rimanere comunque in corsa per questa finale C.
Oh, it's a tight race here in the C final of the men's single sculls. I think Jack Burns has just done what he needed to do here in the third quarter of this race to get his bow ball ahead of Simone Martini from Italy to take the win here in the C final. That'll give him 13th place overall in the men's single sculls here in Sabaudia. But a fantastic sprint here from the Finnish sculler coming up on Simone Martini as they come towards the line. But it will be Jack Burns crossing in first, then Simone Martini of Italy, Finland coming across in third. And then it's a very tight race there between Norway and Egypt, and I think coming through in 6th will be Hungary too, but I'll just wait for those final positions coming up on the screen. Again, places 13 to 18 in the men's single sculls.
Sul traguardo quindi abbiamo la conferma con la vittoria della Gran Bretagna davanti all'Italia, per la terza posizione la Finlandia. Queste le posizioni che di fatto vanno ad archiviare la finale C.
So Jack Burns coming across in first, then Simone Martini of Italy. Third went to Finland, fourth to Norway, fifth to Egypt, and sixth Hungary in the C final. On the course now, the B final of the lightweight men's single sculls. In lane 1, Hungary 2. In lane 2, Denmark. In lane 3, Switzerland. In lane 4, Poland. In lane 5, France. And in lane 6, the Czech Republic.
Rimaniamo nelle finali B e ora ci proiettiamo con la finale B del singolo pesi leggeri maschile per assegnare le posizioni dalla 7ª alla 12ª mondiale. Ungheria in acqua 1, Danimarca in acqua 2, Svizzera in acqua 3, Polonia in acqua 4, Francia in acqua 5, chiude la griglia la Repubblica Ceca in acqua 6.
So Camilla, this looks to be a fantastic start from Hugo Bury of France.
Yeah, Hugo Burry of France, the 23-year-old out of that French lightweight men's double that failed to qualify for the Olympic Games in quite a shock moment, and part of that selection headache that the French lightweight coach had in order to try and get that boat to the Olympic Games. But back here in the single scull, lots of experience, the under-23 silver medalist in this category from a couple of years ago. Burry of France is leading the way at the moment, but behind him we've got a classic fight here in a lightweight single scull where I could draw a line across the bow balls of each of the rest of this field. I think perhaps just making the best of it at the moment is Łukasz Savici of Poland, but actually just as I speak, coming into the 1,000, a real consolidated push by the athlete coached by Edouard Blanc, Jan Schäuble of Switzerland. He actually moves now into second position, but only by a canvas as they come through halfway. Burry with lots of open water. He could slot another single scull behind his stern. He's got much control of this race, but the race developing behind, it's Switzerland. Then a really big push there from Jonas Friedrich of the Czech Republic, who's coming up alongside him. And Jan Schäuble's push not quite paying off as he sits in fourth.
Bene, questa magnifica la prova qui del francese che nelle prime battute si è portato nettamente a condurre e prosegue la sua corsa al passaggio ai 1000 metri con oltre 2 lunghezze sui diretti avversari e procede alla grande. Vediamo il francese in acqua 5 nettamente in vantaggio, seguito diciamo a distanza di oltre 2-3 lunghezze dall'atleta della Repubblica Ceca, con Polonia a seguire per la seconda e terza posizione. Vediamo anche la Svizzera abbastanza vicino, lineari su quasi una stessa scia gli altri 5 concorrenti, ma prosegue alla grande la Francia per accedere, completare e aggiudicarsi questa finale B.
Well, Hugo Burry of France just enjoying the ride here and watching carnage up behind him as Jan Schäuble responds to that push that Jonas Friedrich throwed at him from the Czech Republic. But it's all still very, very tight, Tim, as they come towards you behind Burry.
Yeah, definitely, Camilla. It's a very tight race behind the French sculler, but he has, he's rating 34 strokes a minute, which is a lot lower than he did yesterday in the semi-final, or in the heats, where he blasted out of the blocks, rated 38, 39 strokes a minute for most of the way, and then completely collapsed in the final 500. This seems to me like it's a much better race from the young Frenchman, who is in the lead by a length of clear water to the sculler from Switzerland, Jan Schäuble, who is in his lovely red boat, and he is in second position. But between third, fourth, and fifth, there's absolutely nothing between the Czech Republic, Poland, and Denmark. With Alexander Modest currently in fifth position on the far side, we can see Szigeti from Hungary raising the rate, trying to claw back some of the deficit and getting to the race for the other places. But out in front, it's a lovely race, controlled race by Hugo Burry from France as they come towards the Red Bull area. And you, Gillian.
Thanks, Tim. And I think you called it in terms of Hugo Burry's rating. He's gone up to 38 strokes a minute as they're coming towards the finish line here. So that seems to be where he feels comfortable, but a very controlled race from the young French sculler.
Una gara di quelle controllate, una di quelle gare che riesci a gestire, una gara del riscatto, mi sento di dire, perché questo 23enne francese, condottiero di tutto il percorso, si è trovato escluso dal doppio, unica specialità prevista ai Giochi Olimpici per i pesi leggeri, in carriera anche un argento mondiale. Purtroppo la Francia non ha qualificato il doppio leggero per i Giochi e quindi qui si trova in singolo per ricostruire, o meglio iniziare a lavorare verso Parigi 2024. Quindi, come vi dicevo, la Francia lì davanti a fare l'andatura. Per la seconda posizione c'è la Svizzera. Mi piace l'azione dell'atleta svizzero. Comunque la Francia in solitaria verso il traguardo.
Hugo Burry coming up to the line here, ready to take the win here in the lightweight men's single sculls B final. Behind him, the fantastic red boat from Switzerland's Jan Schäuble coming up just behind him. But what a race from Hugo Burry. Open water out there in the lead to win the B final of the lightweight men's single sculls. Second place will go to Jan Schäuble of Switzerland, and a very tight race behind him. I think it will be Poland claiming that third spot in the B final. Fourth will go to Denmark, fifth to the Czech Republic, and sixth to Hungary too. But I'll wait to confirm those places as they come up on the screen. Just confirming those spots for you. First went to France, second to Switzerland, third went to Poland, Łukasz Słazicki, fourth to Denmark, fifth to the Czech Republic, and sixth to Hungary. On the course now, the repechage race for the men's pair. In lane 1, France 1 withdrew from this race for medical reasons. In lane 2, Switzerland. In lane 3, Germany. In lane 4, Croatia 2. In lane 5, France 2. And in lane 6, the Czech Republic.
Abbiamo ora il recupero del 2 senza maschile ed è un peccato non vedere i gemelli francesi in acqua 1 ritirati a causa di una problematica medica, un infortunio. In acqua 2 la Svizzera, in acqua 3 la Germania, in acqua 4 la Croazia, in acqua 5 la Francia, in acqua 6 la Repubblica Ceca.
These crews have gone through the 500-meter mark, and it is the young Croatian crew who's out in the lead at this early stage in the race, Camilla.
Yeah, it is. It's the Lonkaric twins, in fact, which I was going to say, it seems to be part of the writing that you need to be a sibling in Croatia in order to row a very good pair, and that's exactly what's happening here for these 20-year-olds. Out of the under-23 men's 4 for Croatia back in Sarasota, they are leading this race by about 3/4 of a length in this second 500 metres as they approach us here at the 1,000 metres. Behind them, it's still the German crew that sit just behind that. They're 3/4 of a length down in lane number 3, Kamen and Dunkel of Germany. And behind them, I think, in fact, at the moment, it's a dead set tie between Switzerland and the second French pair. And as Gillian's already mentioned, we're missing the Toulon twins who have withdrawn for medical reasons. We did think they didn't look quite right in yesterday's racing. But as they approach us now, a great push from Germany that's put them right up alongside Croatia, and they're threatening for the lead now.
Bene, siamo al passaggio ai 1000 metri. Peccato questo spettacolo che ci ha quantomeno non fatto vedere le barche dei gemelli della Francia e della Croazia, ma la Francia è stata ritirata per un incidente sicuramente sul percorso di ieri. Proseguiamo intanto a condurre lotta aperta fra la Svizzera e la Croazia, con Germania in buonissima posizione che va a attaccare, e qui la fase del recupero. Vi ricordo, i primi 2 accedono alla finale A.
So in this repechage of the men's pairs, it's only the top 2 to go through to the A final. At the moment, it's looking quite good for Croatia and Germany. I think the Croatians, the Lonkariches, Anton and Patrick, spied that little push that Germany put in to come right up close alongside them. They tried to push on and create some more boat speed, even at the lower rating. They're at 36 strokes a minute in comparison to Germany's 38. But the Germans are still moving on them, and I think, Tim, they're about to break the lead in this repechage.
I think you're right, Camilla. It looks very good. The initiative with the German boat as they go bow ball for bow ball in the last stages of the third 500 meters. It's a nice tussle between Croatia and Germany. The young crew from Croatia, although I say that the German crew isn't that much older. It's 2 23-year-olds in that German crew who look absolutely splendid at 38 strokes a minute. As they come past the 1500 meter mark, it's still bow ball for bow ball, and only 2 places, as you mentioned, through to the A final later on Sunday. But it's dead level. They're actually matching each other for rates of striking, although I think the Germans are slightly a pip higher. But it's absolutely wonderful to watch. I think that young combination from Croatia look very much like the Sinkovic brothers in terms of their style. So very nice, sharp catches from the 2 20-year-old Longaric twins from Croatia as they stretch out towards the finishing line and perhaps even to the A final. How is it looking from the finish tower, Gillian?
Yeah, this is such a nice push back from the Croatians on that German crew. The Germans trying to move there in that third 500 meters. Croatia trying to push back on them. I remember watching these young Croatians race in track at the juniors several years ago, and they've had a fantastic result, making it here in the to the repechage of the men's pair and into hopefully the A final as they come into the red buoys.
Siamo oramai in chiusura, guardate la Croazia, tenta il colpaccio ma batte forte il cuore perché sarebbe un secondo due senza in finale. Un equipaggio giovanissimo, entrambe classi 2000, medagliati al campionato del mondo juniores con una medaglia di bronzo. Al loro fianco la Germania che cerca in tutti i modi di rimanere attaccata alla Croazia, quindi Croazia che insieme alla Germania vola verso il traguardo, ma davvero tutti in piedi per la Croazia con due giovanissimi classe 2000 a fare da battistrada in questo secondo recupero del due senza maschile.
So Croatia just striding out to half a boat length lead up on Germany as they come towards the line. But those two crews looking set to go through to the A final in the men's pair. Coming across the line now, Croatia taking the win in the repechage, followed by Germany. That third position and just missing out will be France, two, then fourth going to Switzerland, and fifth to the Czech Republic. They will head to the B final of the men's pair.
Un arrivo davvero meraviglioso ed ora con l'ufficialità possiamo confermare la vittoria della Croazia davanti alla Germania, al terzo posto per la Francia. Davvero complimenti alla Croazia, capace di schierare un secondo due senza di altissimo livello, due giovanissimi atleti, classe 2000, si lavora verso il futuro. Tra l'altro due gemelli, probabilmente un'intesa anche fuori ai remi, lontani dai remi, fuori dall'acqua. Benissimo, davvero.
Up next, the repechage race for the women's double sculls.
La prossima regata del nostro programma sarà il ripescaggio del doppio femminile.
In lane 1, Germany 2. In lane 2, Italy 1. In lane 3, Switzerland. In lane 4, Italy 2. And in lane 5, Poland.
Una gara che in realtà rappresenta un po' anche un test per gli azzurri, Germania in acqua 1, Italia in acqua 2 con Buttiglione e Guerra, equipaggio titolare, in acqua 3 la Svizzera, in acqua 4 ancora Italia, Patelli e Ondoli, e in acqua 5 la Polonia.
In lane 1, representing Germany, Lina Osterkamp and Laura Kampmann. In lane 2, representing Italy 1, Stefania Buttiglione and Clara Guerra. And in lane 3 for Switzerland, Ella von der Schulenburg and Pascal Walker. And they're off in the repechage race of the women's double sculls. 1 through 4 will go through to the A final in this boat class. They will be joining the Netherlands and Germany 1. So we're looking in this race, that horrible race, not to be last here. So the first 4 crews will make it through to that A final.
Le prime 4 imbarcazioni verranno promosse, le prime 4 imbarcazioni entreranno in finale A. Partenza fortissima, incisiva per Alessandra Patelli e Chiara Ondoli, coppia azzurra che torna a gareggiare nella vogata di coppia dopo aver mancato la qualificazione in 4 senza femminile per i Giochi di Tokyo. Ora vanno a contendersi un carrello in doppio. Bellissima l'azione, belle le azzurre lì davanti a comandare.
My Italian co-commentator saying a fantastic start for the second Italian crew here racing in lane 4. They come out of that Italian women's 4 that did not qualify for the Tokyo Olympic Games, but they're here in the double sculls, and what a fantastic lead. They've gone out to a boat length lead here within about the first 250 meters up on Switzerland racing next to them in lane 3. But let's catch up with Camilla out on the water to walk us through the middle section of this race, Camilla.
Thanks very much, Gillian. Yes, it's an interesting head-to-head here we've got between the two Italian double sculls, and I know certainly all of our Italian co-commentators will be watching this with a keen eye, because it's actually this new double of Ondoli and Patelli in lane number 4 for Italy that lead the way at the moment over perhaps the more, I say, experienced combination. This boat of Guerra and Boutignon raced at Lucerne at the second World Cup of the season just a couple of weeks ago. But it was Clara Guerra that was new into the stroke seat there, the 20-year-old out of the women's quad, where they did pretty well and made the A final. But it seems to me like Ondoli and Patelli now just looking to establish this rhythm and this lead at 35 strokes a minute ahead of their crewmates from Italy 1, who sit in second place. It's then only a small margin back to third place in this race. That's the Swiss duet of Pascal Walker and Anna van der Scholenberg in the bow seat. Van der Scholenberg, the Yale student, ex-Headington School from the UK, just sitting in the bow seat, a talented junior and under-23 athlete, and both of these athletes out of that Swiss quad that didn't manage to race at the final Olympic qualification regatta. But they sit in third at the moment in a fairly safe spot ahead of Germany 2. And unfortunately, this time it seems to me it's the Polish combination of Gallic and Borg that sit fairly way off the back, actually, in that 5th spot that is the danger seat. The race not to be last, as we've already said, in this women's double scull repechage.
Un recupero sicuramente di grande interesse per le azzurre, vediamo 2 equipaggi a contendersi, un riscatto sicuramente notevole per Patelli e Ondoli al comando, una partenza eccezionale che hanno visto subito dopo 10 palate portarsi e proiettarsi al comando e a condurre. Siamo sulla linea del passaggio ai 1000 metri, prosegue la corsa la grande di Alessandra Patelli e Chiara Ondoli. Sull'equipaggio ancora Italia di Buttiglioni e Guerra in acqua 2 in seconda posizione, seguita con la Svizzera e la Germania in acqua 1, ma vogliono sicuramente portarsi al comando e proiettarsi alla finale. Vi ricordo, le prime 4 accedono alla finale di questa specialità del doppio senior femminile.
Well, as we hear the drone whizzing overhead here at the 1,000-metre marker, it is that second Italian double scull that's keeping this rhythm up. Chiara Ondoli in the stroke seat, the 25-year-old, just keeping it really lively and light, which I think is the difference in speed, which has given them that extra length and a quarter that they've got over Italy 1's Guerra and Boutignon, who still sit in second, but they are under threat at the moment from Switzerland. Just a quarter of a length separating these two crews in second and third. And they'll certainly be feeling the heat over there in lane number 2. It's then the Germans that sit a length back again, but they are starting to close a little bit of overlap on Switzerland in 4th position at the moment. But it's then way off the back still Poland. Unfortunately, I think will be the contenders to miss out in this race unless they can respond soon, Tim.
Well, they have to respond very soon indeed, Camilla, because there's not much left in this race. Just 550 meters left to row for the leading crews, which is still Italy 2 at this moment. And they look very lively, as you mentioned, Camilla. Lovely rhythm coming from Ondoli in the stroke seat. And it's a very light rhythm indeed. Just tapping it along 33 strokes a minute. And they make it look very easy. And they look very comfortable indeed as they come into the last 500 meters, and a little look to their left to see where their fellow countrywomen are, of Guerra and Boutignon still in second position. Then it's the crew from Switzerland still in third position, and on the far side the second crew from Germany in 4th. And I suspect the unfortunate Polish crew, I don't think they can claw back the deficit, so they miss out on the A final. So I think the stage is set, but it's interesting to see if any of the Italian crews go out for a full-on sprint to prove a point and perhaps even impress the coaches as they come towards you, Gillian, in the finish tower for the last 350 meters of this repechage.
Yeah, Tim, we'll keep an eye on those sprinting Italians. Right now, they're still at 34 strokes a minute, so it's not a full-on sprint, I think, from that second Italian crew. They are still out in the lead. Not too much pressure on them behind them from the first Italian crew as they come towards the red buoys.
Ci avviciniamo alle boe rosse e il test si fa veramente interessante. Quando il gioco si fa duro, i duri iniziano a giocare e mi piace ricordare che Alessandra Patelli, dopo la partecipazione ai Giochi Olimpici di Rio, oggi vuole sognare e merita di sognare in grande con Chiara Ondoli, che provano comunque a rientrare su Stefania Buttignone e Clara Guerra in questo momento seconde. Bene quindi l'atleta dell'Aniene che insieme alla Canottieri Padova insieme costruiscono questa progressione verso il traguardo. Sarà un arrivo tutto azzurro con prima e seconda posizione per le due formazioni femminili a caccia di carrelli per i Giochi Olimpici di Tokyo.
It's an all-Italian affair coming towards the line here. The second Italian boat coming up towards the line to take that first spot in the repechage of the women's double sculls. Italy 1 will come through behind them. Both of those crews progressing through to the A final. Then we have Switzerland and Germany 2 who will take the next two spots to the A final, and Poland will just miss out.
Sul traguardo abbiamo visto quindi la conferma con la vittoria per Alessandra Patelli e Chiara Ondoli su Stefania Buttignone e Clara Guerra. Terza e quarta posizione a Svizzera e Germania, resta fuori la Polonia.
We're up at the start line for the repechage of the men's double sculls. 5 boats competing in this race. In lane 1, Great Britain. In lane 2, Italy 1. In lane 3, the Netherlands. In lane 4, Italy 2. And in lane 5, Finland.
Anche qui una sfida con due equipaggi azzurri, in acqua 1 la Gran Bretagna, in acqua 2 l'Italia, in acqua 3 l'Olanda, in acqua 4 l'Italia e in acqua 5 la Finlandia.
And they're off in the repechage of the men's double sculls. Again, first 4 will go through to the A final here. They'll be joining Switzerland and Poland in that A final. So one of these, again, these races not to be last.
Una di quelle gare dove non vuoi essere ultimo, una di quelle gare dove per raggiungere il sogno basta arrivare nelle prime 4 posizioni su 5. Chi sarà l'ultimo lo scopriremo ovviamente tra 2 chilometri esatti. Sicuramente azzarderei ottima partenza dell'equipaggio Under 23 Matteo Sartori e Nunzio Di Colandrea, che provano a fuggire nelle prime palate imponendo subito il ritmo.
Off to the best start there. The first Italian crew, they shot off the blocks, I think at about 50 strokes a minute. They've settled down to about 42 strokes a minute, and they've just been able to poke their bow ball out to the lead there. The bow seat, Matteo Sartori, Luca was informing me, is the son of the president of the organizing committee. So fantastic to see him out there racing. I'm sure his dad will be very proud to watch him out there on the water. And they are out in that early lead. At this early stage in the race, it's just Finland who's dropped off the back of the pack slightly.
Una partenza veramente incisiva, bella l'azione di questa accoppiata con Nunzio Di Colandrea passato dalla vogata di punta alla coppia lì a fare da capovoga per Matteo Sartori. Dalla torre d'arrivo vedo anche mamma Monica molto emozionata, bella davvero l'azione della coppia azzurra che riesce ancora ad andare a dare il ritmo quando ci avviciniamo al passaggio dei primi 500 metri con un vantaggio di meno di un secondo sull'altro equipaggio azzurro, quello di Ferrio e Mattana.
So a very tight race through the 500-meter mark between the four leading crews. Finland just dropping slightly off the back of the pack. So Camilla, how does it look out there from your perspective?
Well, it looks as close as you're describing, Gillian. It's certainly a tight race here in these top four places, and just Finland at the moment perhaps lagging a little, but I'm sure, as you say, a very proud father, as the leading boat contains Matteo Sartori, as you've already mentioned, son of Alessio Sartori, the five-time Olympian and three-time Olympic medalist. It must run in the genes of the Sartori family as this crew leads the way for Italy 1, and they are just starting to open up a tiny bit more of a lead now over their Italian counterparts. In fact, actually, I think a little bit of a kick there from Great Britain, who also now have chosen this moment to come up into the fight for first. It's all change here, just a few metres separating, so things can change so quickly in the small boats. So it's now Great Britain that lead the way, but only half a canvas ahead of the two Italian crews. Also in the mix, the Dutch at the moment as well. They're sandwiched in between the Italians. Great Britain over on the far side of the lake, so they don't quite get as much advantage of being in the centre of the lake and with all the crews surrounding them. But it's going to be through the 1,000 metres. A bow ball for Great Britain ahead of the Dutch that come through in second. It's then Italy 1 ahead of Italy 2, still only just in third and fourth, and Finland off the back.
Grande recupero, vediamo due equipaggi azzurri che stanno contenendosi palata su palata, una posizione degna della loro imbarcazione. Vediamo gli azzurri Sartori e Di Colandrea ancora al comando, attaccati alla grande dalla Gran Bretagna, e l'Italia 2 in acqua 4 di Ferrio e Mattana. La corsa anche per il giovanissimo Matteo vuole portarsi all'inizio di un'avventura sicuramente strategica, un po' come il papà, al comando ancora di questa imbarcazione, ma grande attacco anche all'acqua 3 dell'Olanda che sta portandosi a incrementare qualche colpo. Vediamo, tiene alla grande ancora l'equipaggio dell'Italia in acqua 2 di Sartori e Di Colandrea, e prosegue la corsa. Sarà incessante l'arrivo da parte dei nostri spettatori, ma anche del nostro settore tecnico, a valorizzare i nostri giovani qui che scalpitano e vogliono portarsi alla grande avanti.
Well, this is such a stunning race. We've had 3 different leaders at least in the course of the first 1,500 metres. I think the Dutch now, Tim, are starting to have a go past you.
Yeah, you're perfectly right, Camilla. It's the combination of Van Kuik and Van Lierop who are taking the initiative in the third quarter of this race. They're a bow ball ahead of the first crew from Italy. It's not much for the two rowers from Sculls rowing club in Amsterdam, but they are in the lead, the Dutch crew, but it's not much. And I think Italy 1 will produce a sprint finish come the Red Buoy area, but it's basically 4 crews abreast. And poor Finland having a lot of work to do to catch up with the leading 4 crews. I don't see that happening, to be perfectly honest with you. The gap is just too massive. It's a couple of lengths of clear water to the fourth place Italian 2 crew. But out in front, the Dutch having a wonderful race with Italy 1 for the win in this repechage of the men's double sculls.
Yes, Tim, they're both set to go through to the A final, but I think right now they're just racing for that pride here as they come towards the finish line. The Dutch and the Italians going stroke for stroke as they're into the last 250 meters.
In questi ultimi 250 metri non solo ci si gioca la promozione per la finale A, ma anche un antipasto di quello che potrebbe essere un sogno, la voglia di andare poi ad essere protagonisti in finale. Continua l'Olanda con 36 colpi al minuto, ma mi piace il cambio di passo di Sartori con Di Colandrea che ha 38 colpi, cercano di rientrare sulla formazione olandese, all'esterno aggancia anche l'Italia, sono tutti molto vicini, ancora in corsa, non vogliono accontentarsi di una semplice promozione, vogliono farla da grandi campioni.
Oh, the Dutch have gone up to 38 strokes a minute as they charge towards the line. They want to win this repechage race of the men's double sculls. Italy 1 looking set to take that second spot behind them, and then a very close race between Italy 2 and Great Britain. But all four of those crews will head through to the A final in the men's double sculls, with Finland just missing out.
Se il buongiorno si vede dal mattino, siamo partiti davvero fortissimi. Bella l'azione, bello l'arrivo, vittoria dell'Olanda al secondo posto all'equipaggio Under 23 con Sartori Di Colandrea, 3 secondi e 43 di distacco sulla coppia olandese, terza piazza per l'Italia, quarto posto alla Gran Bretagna, fuori la Finlandia.
Up next, the repechage of the men's 4.
Il prossimo recupero sarà il 4 senza maschile.
In lane 1, Switzerland. In lane 2, the Netherlands. In lane 3, Great Britain 2. In lane 4, Great Britain 1. And in lane 5, Italy 2.
In acqua 1 la Svizzera, in acqua 2 l'Olanda, in acqua 3 e 4 la Gran Bretagna, in acqua 5 l'Italia Under 23.
Up at the start line, in lane 1, Switzerland, stroked by Andren Gulic. In lane 2, for the Netherlands, stroked by Menno Besma. Composite Dutch crew here. In lane 3, Great Britain 2, stroked by Lenny Jenkins. In lane 4, Great Britain 1, stroked by Samuel Nunn. These two young British crews coming up from the under 23s back in 2019. And in lane 5 for Italy, Alessandro Bonamenetto in the stroke seat.
The Netherlands, Great Britain, Italy, attention.
And they're off for this repechage race of the men's 4. Again, in this race, 4 crews through to the A final out of this 5-boat race. But I think this is going to be fantastic. All 5 of these crews across the water going stroke for stroke out of the start blocks.
Mamma mia Gillian, una partenza veramente eccezionale. Abbiamo visto l'Italia provare a girare a 48 colpi al minuto, questo equipaggio Under 23 che ha cercato subito di rimanere incollato al gruppo di testa con l'Olanda lì al centro, veramente molto incisiva, e la Gran Bretagna che con due formazioni, come dicevi tu, Under 23 nel 2019 sta lavorando per un progetto chiamato Parigi 2024 e questi due quattro senza dovrebbero essere la base del lotto per i prossimi giochi. Insomma, tanta carne al fuoco, bene la Gran Bretagna, l'Italia in questo momento dopo i primi 200 metri a quarta.
So out to the best lead here, the first British boat and the Dutch. They're just going stroke for stroke. This Dutch crew, they're a composite crew of the gold and silver medal winners from the national championships small boats back in April. They put those two men's pairs together and created a four to come down here to Sabaudia. And they're currently just riding behind that British crew as they come up towards the 500-meter mark.
Ci avviciniamo ai 500 metri ancora, continua la corsa, guardate che bello spettacolo, ma è curiosa non solo la Gran Bretagna ma anche l'Olanda, perché facendo un po' di ricerca internazionale si nota veramente una formazione molto interessante. Pensate che questo quattro senza è formato dai due migliori due senza, primi e secondi al campionato nazionale, quindi una combinazione sicuramente nuova e interessante, ma che guarda al domani con il lavoro di due società diverse ai campionati nazionali che si sono unite, quindi Gran Bretagna lì davanti a fare l'andatura sull'Olanda, poi ancora Gran Bretagna, la Svizzera ai 500 metri, l'Italia invece è quinta.
They're quickly approaching the 750-meter mark. Camilla, how are things out there on the water?
Yeah, I love watching the big boats race, and it's this part of the Project Paris team for Great Britain out in front here. Both British crews coached by Harry Brightmore of Oxford Brookes University, so he's going to be watching this with a keen eye on both of these fours. But it's Great Britain 1, the combination from Oxford Brookes of Sam Nunn, Sam Bannister, Matt Aldridge and David Ambler that lead the way. They're about a length up ahead of the Dutch, who were fast fighting off the start but are now dropping back into the pack and actually being reeled in by Great Britain too. Some of the quality in this second British boat as well is just absolutely outstanding. The stern pair of Lenny Jenkins and Matthew Rowe, under 23 gold medalists, alongside David Buick-Copley and Freddie Davidson. The Princeton and Cambridge pairing in the bow pair are now starting to see just out of the left-hand corner of their eye the Dutch crew that they're rolling alongside. They're now just half a length back in third position, with Switzerland ahead of Italy in third, in fourth and fifth respectively. And again, with the race not to come last, I think that will be a really good race to keep an eye on out at the back of the field.
Grande prova da parte della Germania, e l'altezza dei 1000 metri a passaggio ha ingranato veramente alla quarta e si è proiettata al comando nettamente sull'Olanda. Buona la posizione dell'Olanda in acqua 2, mentre cercano di rimanere a contatto i nostri giovani Frigerio, Verità, Castelnuovo e Buona Moneta. Grande lavoro per il proseguo della nostra attività a livello di Parigi 2024. I nostri giovani si devono proiettare per le prossime impegni a livello internazionale, anche per il campionato Under 23. Comunque prosegue grande prova della Germania in acqua 4, che conduce ancora alla grande sulla Olanda, a seguire ancora la Gran Bretagna in acqua 3.
Although a development boat from Great Britain, GB1 in lane number 4, just looks absolutely stunning. The stern three of this boat out of that Oxford Brookes absolute domination period from Henley Royal Regatta and so on. And they're certainly looking as good, perhaps, as their senior boat is at the top end of this sport going to Tokyo, Tim.
It's a very good-looking crew, Camilla. They actually broke clear water as they passed me at the 1500-meter mark, in the Dutch still in the second position. But it's basically bow-ball for bow-ball between the second crew from Great Britain, still in third, and the Dutch in second position. So that's a nice race developing between the top three crews. But the real race is for fourth and fifth. The race not to come last. It will come down to a race between Switzerland and Italy, I think, because those two crews are half a length between them, and I think the Swiss still in safe in fourth position. But the Italians already raised the rate to 42 strokes a minute, so everything to play for as they come towards you, Gillian.
Yeah, Tim, we have to keep an eye on that Italy 2 crew just to see if they can push back out of that 5th position that they're currently sitting in and get into one of those qualifying spots for the A final. But I think right now the speed is riding with the Swiss crew to secure that 4th position.
È bella l'azione degli azzurri che prova a rientrare, ma la Svizzera riesce ad agganciarsi al gruppo di testa e questo sicuramente potrebbe fare la differenza. Gran Bretagna lì davanti ancora, la Gran Bretagna che guarda Parigi partendo da Sabaudia, poi ancora Gran Bretagna in doppietta, attenzione con l'Olanda e la Svizzera, l'Italia potrebbe rientrare ancora lì punta a punta.
Up to the line, what a fantastic race in this repechage of the men's four. Great Britain 1 taking the lead. Great Britain 2, I think, just getting across the line ahead of the Netherlands and Switzerland. But a very tight race for this repechage. Italy 2 coming through in that 5th spot. They will miss out on the A final, but I will confirm those positions for you once they come up on our screen.
Una gara davvero velocissima, con la capacità ancora una volta della Gran Bretagna di costruire quello che guarda al domani. Bella quindi la vittoria per i due equipaggi di Sua Maestà, rispettivamente primi e secondi. Terza posizione per l'Olanda, quarta la Svizzera, comunque in finale. Peccato per gli azzurri, rimasti fuori per un soffio, veramente un peccato per questo equipaggio Under 23 che sicuramente troverà il modo di andare a riscattarsi nel prossimo futuro.
Just confirming those final positions. Great Britain 1 coming through in 1st, Great Britain 2 in 2nd, the Netherlands in 3rd, and Switzerland in 4th, with Italy 2 just missing out on the A final. Up next, the first of the AB semifinals, the AB semifinal of the women's single sculls.
Ci spostiamo ora con le semifinali, le gare della verità, normalmente le chiamo così, semifinale del singolo femminile.
In lane 1, Switzerland. In lane 2, Great Britain 1. In lane 3, Germany. In lane 4, the Netherlands 1. In lane 5, Norway. And in lane 6, the Netherlands 2.
Svizzera in acqua 1, Gran Bretagna in acqua 2, Germania in acqua 3, Olanda in acqua 4, Norvegia in acqua 5, Olanda 2 in acqua 6.
In lane 1 for Switzerland, Fabian Schweitzer. In lane 2 for Great Britain 1, Lola Anderson. In lane 3 for Germany, the young talent Peter Greiten. In lane 4 for the Netherlands, Sophie Sauer.
Switzerland, Great Britain, Germany, the Netherlands, Norway, the Netherlands, attention.
And the first AB semifinal of this morning is underway in the women's single sculls. The first 3 crews going through to the A final, and we're expecting a fantastic race in this women's single.
ci aspettiamo una gara davvero interessante, ma soprattutto in questa gara della verità solo 3 piazzamenti, le prime 3 posizioni garantiscono l'accesso in finale A. Grande partenza dell'Olanda a 39 colpi al minuto, lì davanti con mezza imbarcazione di vantaggio a fare l'andatura su Germania e Gran Bretagna.
The best start there going to the second Dutch boat, Lisanne Brandsma, just jumping out of the start blocks and taking almost a boat length very early on in this race, but we'll have to see if she can maintain that all the way down the course. Riding right behind her at the moment is the young German Pia Greiten there. She comes out of that German women's 8 effort. They tried to get that boat through to the Tokyo Olympic Games, and here she is racing in the single sculls for Germany, but I think we'll see a lot of things develop as this race continues.
Tante cose cambieranno durante il corso di questa gara, ma veramente oltre alla certezza dell'Olanda lì a fare l'andatura che prova ancora una volta ad andare ad allungare il suo margine di vantaggio, mi piace segnalare anche la Germania. Bella l'azione di questa atleta in acqua 3 che ha accettato la scelta tecnica di passare dall'8 al singolo per rappresentare la sua nazione in chiave olimpica, un cambio veramente drastico dalla barca più veloce, la barca multipla al singolo, per continuare comunque a fare grande la propria nazione.
So as they come up towards the 500-meter mark, the British sculler Lola Anderson just making her big move, getting her bell ball out into the lead there, out in lane 2. But walking us through the middle part of this race is our commentators out there on the water. Camilla, how's it look from your perspective?
Yeah, the conditions are changing a little bit here at the 1,000. Actually, we've got a bit of a tail breeze. The sun's started to burn through the clouds, so the heat is picking up a little. And it's certainly picking up for Lola Anderson of Great Britain, the under-23 gold medalist from the women's quad back in 2019 in Sarasota, the ex-Newcastle University and now Leander Club sculler here out at the front of the field. Again, part of this Project Paris for Great Britain, an emerging young talent, much like the rest of the field. And again, it's that fight in the centre of the course that's still taking place between Pia Greiten, who was the early leader, along with Lisanne Brandsma of the Netherlands. But it's actually the other Dutch sculler now, Sophie Sauer, a little bit more experienced in the scull, who's trying to poke her way into second place. But Greiten is not rolling over easily. These two sit bow ball for bow ball, identical speeds, identical racing styles, and identical rating as well. They're at 33 strokes a minute. Greiten and Sauer in second place. If anything, I think it's actually perhaps the German that still has the slight advantage as they come in towards 1,000 metres, but really nothing much. Anderson, I think, chose a good moment to go out of 500 metres gone as she still leads by just under a length, and she's looking very long out at the front in her scull. No hesitation whatsoever, getting her blades into the water and getting locked on, and she still is moving away ever so slightly from the chasing pack of the Netherlands and Germany.
Siamo al passaggio ai 1.000 metri, grande prima semifinale questa del singolo femminile. Vediamo grande la partenza in acqua 2 dell'atleta della Gran Bretagna che ha preso nettamente un vantaggio di circa un'imbarcazione. Vediamo al passaggio e Gran Bretagna su Germania e Olanda per le prime 3 posizioni. A seguire vediamo con Norvegia e Olanda 2 per la 4ª e 5ª posizione. Bene, prosegue ancora la corsa. Io volevo approfittarne in questa circostanza della non presenza delle nostre azzurre. Un doveroso ringraziamento ancora al nostro comitato organizzatore di questa magnifica prova della 4ª Coppa del Mondo qui a Sabaudia, che abbiamo vissuto in questi giorni, ma ieri la cerimonia di apertura con tutte le autorità presenti, ma in modo particolare abbiamo visto tutti i sindaci dell'area pontina soffermarsi ancora con noi e dare un motivo significativo per quello che è il proseguo dell'attività dello sport qui di tutto l'agro pontino, con Sabaudia a gestire e a continuare a proseguire questo intento di tutto lo sport, diciamo, dell'agro pontino. Grazie.
So we've got to shift our minds from repechages to semi-finals. Only the top 3 through to the A final here. It's still Great Britain's Lola Anderson out at the front of the field, still holding distance a length back. It's Salva of the Netherlands. It's then Greiton, who's just slipping back through the field somewhat. Could she open the door here, Tim, for some other challenges into this A final?
Well, it looks to me like there's a lot of work to do for the Sculls, who are placed 4th, 5th and 6th in the semi-final, to get back at Pia Greizen from Germany. She looks relatively secure in 3rd position, still out in front Lola Anderson, the Leander Club rower, as you mentioned, Camilla. She looks very comfortable indeed, just rating 31 strokes a minute actually, so underrating Sophie Sauer from the Netherlands, who is a length back. Then it's a length back to Pia Greiton from Germany, and those 3 Scullers have several lengths of clear water over Fabienne Schweitzer from Switzerland, and it is, I think, Marie Roorvik from Norway in 5th position, with Skadi rower Lisanne Brandsma in 6th position. But out in front, Lola Anderson still looks very comfortable. Sophie Sauer making a bit of a change of gear here in the last 400 meters to try and claw back some of the deficit. It's just half a boat length between Great Britain and the Netherlands as they come towards the line.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Tim. And Great Britain just holding that charge from Sophie Sauer as they come up towards the line. But as I say that, she takes another step up to 35 strokes a minute. I think she might be trying to challenge for that first spot here in the semi-final. But either way, she will be going through to the A final of the women's single sculls.
Un arrivo di quelli che sicuramente ti ricordi per tanto tempo. Solo le prime 3 posizioni garantiscono il passaggio del turno e in questo momento accanto alla Gran Bretagna, l'Olanda e la Germania. Prova a reinserirsi anche la Svizzera, ma oramai le posizioni sono molto ben delineate. Quindi Olanda e Gran Bretagna insieme alla Germania per le prime 3 posizioni.
Oh, that's a huge sprint from Sophie Sauer of the Netherlands to overtake the British sculler Lola Anderson as they come up towards the line. Lola Anderson still at that low 32 strokes a minute, looking very calm and collected. But Sophie Sauer wanting to stamp her mark on this race in the women's 4 as a spare in Lucerne. She's back here in the single for the Netherlands and just coming up into the lead to win the AB semi-final of the women's single sculls. That will take her through to the A final. She will be joined there with the British sculler Lola Anderson, and I think hanging on to that 3rd spot as they come up to the line now will be Pia Greiton of Germany. Then we look back to the rest who will head to the B final. The Swiss sculler Fabienne Schweitzer, followed by Norway's Jenny-Marie Roorvik, and the second Dutch crew Lisanne Brandsma.
Sul traguardo quindi la conferma con la vittoria dell'Olanda sulla Gran Bretagna, al terzo posto la Germania. Queste le 3 nazioni che andranno a contendersi poi in finale domani, finale olimpica, le medaglie che contano.
Up next, the second AB semi-final of the women's single sculls.
La prossima è la seconda semifinale del singolo femminile.
In lane 1, Denmark. In lane 2, Namibia. In lane 3, France. In lane 4, Ukraine. In lane 5, Great Britain 2. And in lane 6, Sweden.
Danimarca, Namibia, Francia, Ucraina, Gran Bretagna e Svezia, le nazioni pronte a lottare.
Fantastic to see Maika Diekman here of Namibia. She won the African qualification regatta and is headed to Tokyo, competing here at the Sabaudia World Cup.
At attention.
And they're off for the second AB semi-final of the women's singles sculls. Just getting the best start there was the French sculler Audrey Feutry of France. She had a huge late charge to make it into this AB semi-final out of yesterday's heats, but fantastic stuff from the French sculler getting out there to an early lead.
Una partenza veramente eccezionale, quella dell'atleta francese, giovanissima, la più giovane in gara, classe 1999, a 36 colpi a minuto, quindi colpi controllati, riesce subito a dimostrare di avere una marcia in più, ma attenzione perché in questa specialità abbiamo visto molto bene anche la Gran Bretagna nelle giornate precedenti, quindi Gran Bretagna che potrebbe di fatto andare a rientrare, senza dimenticare che in gara c'è anche l'Ucraina che si è riuscita appunto a contendere una posizione che conta in semifinale. Lei, Diana Dimichenko, che conosce molto bene questo lago perché si allena appunto qui a Sabaudia sul lago di Paola, e sicuramente gareggiare in casa potrebbe darle quella marcia in più.
So we've seen several of these athletes competing already this season in the various qualification events, trying to make their way to Tokyo. Lovisa Claesson of Sweden has managed to do that. She also finished 4th at the first World Rowing Cup, but she's just sitting slightly off the pace here. She's going to have to make a move if she wants to find her way into the AB semi-final, because currently out there in the front at this stage of the race is still the French sculler, together with the sculler from Namibia and Ukraine and Great Britain. So I think those crews looking set for, at this early stage in the race, looking like they might go through to the A final. But obviously a lot of things can develop through the middle section.
Tante cose possono cambiare durante il percorso, e allora una delle cose che potrebbe cambiare è sicuramente il possibile rientro della Svezia in acqua 6. Ve ne avevo parlato appunto prima. La Svezia, già qualificata per i giochi di Tokyo, in questo momento è un po' attardata, ma sta cercando di rientrare. Si porta intanto al comando Diana Dimichenko. Questo sicuramente potrebbe far particolarmente piacere alla comunità di Sabaudia, perché lei oramai è cittadina qui in questa terra e prepara le sue più importanti manifestazioni internazionali. Quindi Diana Dimichenko lì davanti a fare l'andatura, poi la Gran Bretagna, al terzo posto c'è la Namibia, ma tenete un occhio anche sulla Svezia perché potrebbe rientrare.
So Diana Dimchenko of Ukraine making her move here just to take that lead away from the British sculler Catherine Wilkinson-Feller. How does it look out there, Camilla?
Yeah, good little push there by Katie Wilkinson-Feller of Great Britain, but it is the accomplished both fine boat rower and coastal rower Diana Dimchenko of Ukraine. She's very experienced in the single scull, and just as we look out here onto the water, we've got jumping fish coming out of the lake. The sun's come out. They've got some great conditions, these women's single sculls, and Dimchenko looks fantastic out in front. But the other sculler to keep an eye on here is actually Micah Diekman of Namibia. Amazing stuff for her. She only started rowing 6 years ago in Namibia, and she will be the first ever Namibian to represent rowing at the Olympic Games for the country. So what an achievement from her in just 6 years, having found rowing at university. But she is going to have to try and fend off the French sculler Audrey Feutry, who sits in lane number 3, because she is still with overlap in 4th position, and with the top 3 to go through here to the A final, she has still got a chance. She sits ahead of 5th position currently, Denmark's Astrid Steinberg, and Lovisa Claesson just pulling up as well to try and challenge for that 5th position. And actually Claesson now pushing on to France and trying to move into 4th position. A really good move there for Sweden through the halfway, but it's still out in front. Ukraine in first, then Great Britain, followed by Namibia.
Grande partenza, ma grande fase della prima, al passaggio ai 1000 metri. La Diana, come ci accennava il nostro carissimo amico Luca, gioca in casa per il piacere e la soddisfazione della Canottieri de Corre, dove quantomeno segue tutte le fasi degli allenamenti durante la stagione invernale e sta dimostrando di conoscere bene il nostro lago. Vediamo grande prova a condurre ancora la Diana Dimchenko, con grande rientro in acqua 2 della Namibia, ma che con Gran Bretagna a seguire per le prime 3 posizioni. Accedono alla finale le prime 3
So Dimchenko, although representing Ukraine here out in front, a local to Sabaudia, she trains here, so she'll be really relishing the conditions out there on the water. She can look back at both Great Britain's Wilkinson Feller to her right and on her left, Micah Diekman, but a real challenge coming from behind, hotly contested by France and Sweden, Tim.
Yeah, it's the all-important third position through to the A final, which we are looking for. It's indeed Dimchenko from the Ukraine comfortably out on the lead, but a great race from Wilkinson Feller from Great Britain to stay into contact, only half a boat length down from the sculler from the Ukraine. And then it's a great race for the third position. It's still Micah Diekman. She looks very good at this stage, but there is a challenge coming from Feutry from France, but she has to get a move on if she is going to claim that final spot through to the A final. And closest to me also Lovisa Claesson actually having a great race too. She's really tracking the leading three scullers. So I'm interested to see what she can produce in the last 500 meters to get ahead and get into the A final. But first and second look to me relatively secure in the hands of Dimchenko and Wilkinson Feller, but Micah Diekman, a lovely third position for her at this stage of the race. But there is a challenge being laid down from Sweden and from France with 350 meters or so to go.
Yeah, that's that all-important third place, Tim. And I think Micah Diekman just gone up to a 35 strokes a minute. She's trying to actually push up on the British sculler. And as that happens, the British sculler is pushing up on Ukraine. And it's all sort of tightening up here at the leading places in this women's single sculls. We'll see if the French can do anything to get back into this race, anything to get to one of those top three spots into the A final.
Se lì davanti c'è ancora Diana Dimchenko, lei atleta dell'Ucraina ma che conosce molto bene il lago, per la seconda posizione, un'ormai scontata Gran Bretagna. I riflettori però devono essere tutti per la Namibia, dovremmo alzarci tutti in piedi per Micah Diekman, questa atleta dalla Namibia che porterà la nazione per la prima volta nella storia ai Giochi Olimpici di Tokyo, un'atleta che sicuramente è venuta fuori in questi ultimi 6 anni in modo eccezionale e che merita una grande finale qui a Sabaudia per poter andare a sognare. Si fa pericolosa anche la Svezia quando siamo agli ultimi 100 metri.
Diana Dimchenko just staying out in the lead, but that's a huge push from Lovisa Claesson of Sweden to try and get back into this race out there on the far side. Great Britain just failing slightly as they come up towards the line. Namibia's Micah Diekman looking to stay set to one of those places to the A final. Diana Dimchenko claims the first spot. I think behind her it was Diekman of Namibia, and then Sweden's Lovisa Claesson with Great Britain just missing out. But I will confirm that as it comes up on the screen for you.
Una di quelle gare che ti ricordi per sempre, una di quelle gare che ti permettono di raggiungere un sogno. Vittoria dell'Ucraina al secondo posto, la strappa la Namibia per la prima volta nella storia ai giochi. Al terzo posto la Svezia, quarta la Gran Bretagna.
Oh, such a blistering finish in that second AB semifinal of the women's single sculls. I can confirm Diana Dimchenko of Ukraine coming through in first. That second spot went to Micah Diekman of Namibia, and third to Lovisa Claesson of Sweden. So the British sculler Wilkinson Feller just missing out there. She will head to the B final together with Audrey Feutry of France and Astrid Steinsberg of Denmark. Up next, the AB semi-final of the men's single sculls.
Siamo con la semifinale del singolo maschile, l'ora della verità.
In lane 1, Hungary 1. In lane 2, Poland 2. In lane 3, representing Italy, Gennaro Di Mauro. In lane 4, for Denmark, Sverre Nielsen. In lane 5, Poland, Natan Vershimski-Shimtek. In lane 6, Germany 2.
Poland, Italy, Denmark, Poland, Germany. Attention.
And that's a green buzzer in the first AB semifinal of the men's single sculls. Getting out there to the very early lead, Stefan Remikosten of Germany too, but a lot to play in this race. It'll be very exciting to watch. We've got young athletes, older, more experienced athletes in this race, and we'll have to see which three of them can get through to the A final.
Una di quelle partenze che vuoi ovviamente andare subito a raggiungere. Bella, bella davvero l'azione fuori dai blocchi per Gennaro Di Mauro, questo giovane scudiero azzurro classe 2001. Pensate, ha iniziato a remare solo nel 2015 presso il Circolo Canottieri Napoli, oggi tesserato per il Circolo Canottieri Aniene. Gennaro Di Mauro lì davanti a fare l'andatura insieme ancora a destra e a sinistra Danimarca e Polonia per le prime tre posizioni.
So, of course, all eyes will be on Sverre Nielsen of Denmark there in lane 4, the world silver medalist, and he's gotten out to a lead about half a boat length up on the Italian sculler Gennaro Di Mauro, the young Italian sculler who's a powerhouse on the erg, who's over 2 meters tall and who's just worked his way into this AB semifinal of the men's single sculls. Currently in that important third position is the second crew from Poland, Piotr Plominski, and he's in that third spot, but I think we could see still a lot of things develop through the middle section of this race.
Ancora molto da fare, ma è bello vedere che la gara si sia già divisa a metà, con un gruppo di testa capitanato dal vice campione del mondo Nielsen in acqua 4 atleta della Danimarca, davanti alla Polonia e l'Italia per la seconda e terza posizione. Bella davvero l'azione per questi tre singolisti che cercano di fatto di fuggire verso la finale A.
So through the 500-meter mark, and Sverre Nielsen just starting to extend his lead. He's taken a boat length on Gennaro Di Mauro of Italy. So what do you think, Camilla? Is this race going to go to Sverre Nielsen of Denmark?
Yes, I think that Nielsen's just got that little bit more experience, right, than the young Gennaro Di Mauro. Great to see some ex-juniors in this race who raced at the Junior World Championships in Tokyo. Not just Gennaro Di Mauro of Italy, but the man that sits also in the lane next to him, Piotr Plominski of Poland, who was right up there and still is right up there alongside him in this second 500 metres of the race. Both of these athletes contested the A final at the Junior World Championships in the single sculls, and they scull side by side behind the world silver medalist from Denmark. How amazing would that be if the top three through to the A final was Sverre Nielsen and two ex-junior athletes stepping up here to their senior stages at the World Rowing Cup 3 here in Sabaudia. And these three sculls actually do have open water back to Natan Wawrzycki-Szymczyk, the Polish sculler who had such a great season throughout the European Championships in 2020 and beyond. But he's just not quite found his form through the final Olympic qualification regatta, and he sits now a length back on the young Polish sculler Piotr Plominski in fourth position. It's then the Hungarian sculler ahead of Stefan Remikosten of Germany, the super sub that will be travelling as a spare to Tokyo, and that through the 1,000 metres. It's a length for the young Gennaro Di Mauro of Italy ahead of Piotr Plominski in second and third, but Sverre Nielsen looking commanding out in the lead.
Grande passaggio qui ai 1000 metri con la Danimarca al comando, si è posto nelle battute qui al passaggio ai 1000 metri, ma tiene alla grande la nuova stella qui azzurra Gennaro Di Mauro. Grande partenza per lui, si è posto poi a tenere un passo di controllo, quantomeno per l'ingresso per i primi tre nella finale. Vedremo sicuramente un nuovo talento qui per il nostro canottaggio, già in evidenza nella gara di apertura di ieri, ma vediamo crescere ancora di più con due colonne qui della Polonia che lo stanno cercando di metterlo in difficoltà, ma lui alla grande cerca di rimanere per l'ingresso in finale e gestire e controllare palata su palata.
Well, it was very apparent as they came away from us. This race for third is still very much up for grabs into the A final. Natan Wawrzycki-Szymczyk put his rating through the roof to try and catch Plominski of Poland, Tim.
Yeah, he's made a strong move there in the third quarter, Camilla, from Nathan Rogimski-Simchik. He's at 36 strokes a minute and eating away the lead that Pluminski had in the first half of this race. Out in front, it's still Sverre Nielsen looking very comfortable, just tapping it along 36 strokes a minute. Several lengths of clear water in front of the young Gennaro Di Mauro, who also looks comfortable, but he is under pressure from this sculler from Nathan Rogimski-Simchik, who's now moved into third position, and it looks to me like he's reserving a place in the A final tomorrow. But a great race from Gennaro Di Mauro, only 20 years of age, and he looks very well. Almost like it's a very mature race from the young Italian sculler. He has, of course, a 545 ergo in his back pocket to use if he wants to fend off the charge from Rogimski-Simchik in the last 250 meters. But Sverre Nielsen looking one of the favorites to get a medal this weekend, out in front and coming towards you, Gillian, in the finish tower.
Yeah, we saw such a sluggish start from the Polish sculler, Nathan Rogimski-Simchik, and I think he just needed to time his race a little bit better, use the middle section to push back up on the younger sculler from Poland, and he's now into that third spot, but a very impressive lead, of course, from Sverre Nielsen of Denmark.
Guardate in chiusura, se il vice campione del mondo da un lato cerca di mantenere la sua posizione il più veloce in questo momento, almeno con il GPS che va a segnalare a tutto il pubblico anche connesso da casa, Gennaro Di Mauro è il più veloce in corsa in questi ultimi 150 metri. Bella l'azione dell'azzurro che raggiungerà la sua prima finale. Non ha mai vinto una medaglia a un campionato del mondo, ma da campione è pronto ad essere protagonista in chiave internazionale.
Coming up to the line, the compact style of Sverre Nielsen. He will take the win here in this AB semifinal of the men's singles sculls and head through to the A final. He'll be followed by Italy 2, Gennaro Di Mauro, the young, tall Italian rower, a new talent out there on the water. And coming through in third, Nathan Rogimski-Simchik of Poland 1 through to the A final. Then through in fourth will be the second Polish sculler, Piotr Pluminski. He will head through to the B final and be joined there by Hungary 1, Bendigus, Petavari Molnar, and Germany 2, Stefan Riemekosten.
Vittoria quindi della Danimarca, al secondo posto l'azzurro, Gennaro Di Mauro, terza piazza per la Polonia, a chiudere il cerchio sulla semifinale del singolo maschile.
Up next, the second AB semifinal of the men's single sculls.
Siamo ora con la seconda semifinale del singolo maschile.
In lane 1, Brazil. In lane 2, Great Britain 2. In lane 3, Germany 1. In lane 4, Norway 1. In lane 5, Croatia. And in lane 6, Denmark 2.
Brasile e Gran Bretagna con Germania, Norvegia, Croazia e Danimarca.
There we see the British sculler George Bourne in lane 2 for Great Britain. In lane 3 for Germany 1, Oliver Zeidler. World and European champion there in lane 3, just adjusting his boat at the start. Getting into the starting blocks. In lane 4, Kjetilbort of Norway. He's been on the podium at both World Cups so far this season, trying to make it for all 3. In lane 5, Damir Martin of Croatia, making his big comeback, the Olympic silver medalist. And in lane 6, Bastian Sescher of Denmark 2.
Brazil, Great Britain, Germany, Norway, Croatia, Denmark. Attention.
That's a clean start across all 6 lanes in the second AB semi-final of the men's single sculls. Some very big names out there on the water. The defending world and European champion Ollie Zeidler in lane 3 for Germany. We'll have to see how this race develops, but a very quick start from Borsch and Damir Martin out there in the lanes next to him, lanes 4 and 5. We might see these 3 go through to the A final, but let's see how this race develops, Luca.
2 chilometri ovviamente da vivere, 2 chilometri tutti da affrontare. Sicuramente questa semifinale ha nomi ben più referenziati, come si diceva poco fa, dal campione europeo al campione del mondo in carica, il vice campione olimpico in singolo. Insomma, sarà veramente una grande battaglia, ma non poteva che essere la Germania lì davanti, subito forte, fuori dai blocchi, a fare l'andatura. Bella l'azione per Oliver Zeidler, che cerca in tutti i modi di mettere subito in chiaro le regole anche in questa semifinale.
So Ollie Zeidler has been working on his starts. He's out there at 41 strokes a minute. That's a bit unusual to see him up so high so early in this race, but it's taken him into the lead ahead of Borsch and Damir Martin. And of course, Great Britain too, George Bourne going with them at this early stage in the race.
Non possiamo solo parlare della Germania lì davanti a fare l'andatura, ma è importante sottolineare la bellissima azione della Norvegia in acqua 4. Guardate, è praticamente ancora in corsa attaccata alla Germania. Questo talento classe 1990 sul podio a tutte le altre coppe del mondo, e sicuramente una medaglia anche qui a Sabaudia significherebbe un bel trio, un tris prezioso anche in chiave personale. Per la terza posizione c'è la Croazia in questo momento, ma vedremo cosa succederà ovviamente nell'evolversi di questa sfida.
They're through 500 meters, and it's still Ollie Zeidler in the lead ahead of Borsch of Norway and Damir Martin of Croatia. But I think, Camilla, George Bourne is going to have his work cut out for him, and he might be able to find his way into the A final here.
Yeah, I mean, that would be very exciting for the young George Bourne, the under-23 gold medalist from the men's quad in Sarasota. I was actually chatting to him before he came out to Sabaudia, and his biggest wish was that he got to race alongside the best in the world. And my word, did he pick a semi-final for it, because just to his right-hand side, he's got names like Oliver Zeidler, Borsch and Damir Martin. You couldn't get a more stacked semi-final than this, but it is still Zeidler out in the lead, certainly learning some lessons from Lucerne, like you say, Gillian, because he's managed to get out in front where perhaps he trailed behind Grishkonis for the first half back at World Cup 2, but he's now a length ahead of the Norwegian, who sits just to his right, and he's just broken clear water, in fact, as they come towards us here at the 1,000-metre marker. It's then Damir Martin that's 3/4 of a length back on Bork, and George Bourne, the young British athlete that's trying to keep contact desperately with the Croatian, but he does plug the gap in fourth between these leading trio and the rest of the field.
Seconda semifinale, vediamo già abbastanza delineate le prime posizioni, con al comando la Germania, ormai con una imbarcazione di vantaggio sui diretti avversari. Norvegia e Croazia ormai hanno fatto battistrada in 3 per proiettarsi al passaggio della finale. Per i primi 3, vi ricordo, accederanno alla finale. Vediamo a seguire, si fa ancora più spazio dai primi 3 con la Germania. Non poteva essere da meno, campione del mondo 2019, europeo nel 2021, e vuole proseguire la sua corsa di grande interesse per le prossime Olimpiadi.
Well, a lot of shuffle round here at the 1,000. Actually, a few moves being made. The first of them being made by Damir Martin, who's actually pulled up alongside and trying to overtake. In fact, he has overtaken Borsch of Norway. He's been keeping an eye over his left-hand shoulder, and he's now moved quite substantially into second position. He's now half a length up on Borch, where he was 3/4 of a length down before the 1,000. Both of these scullers are now closing up to Zeidler with this race going on for second and third. And I don't think I've seen Zeidler under this much pressure for quite some time. He doesn't look quite as comfortable as he perhaps did winning the A final in Lucerne at World Cup 2. And now these 3 scullers with quite the distance between themselves and the second Danish sculler, Bastian Sacker, that's moved into 4th position, Tim.
Yeah, thanks, Camilla. It's a magnificent third 500 from Damien Martin, the Olympic silver medalist from Rio, to take him to second position here in this AB semi-final. And he looks really good. He looks very comfortable, just 33 strokes a minute. Little look to his left to Oliver Seidler, who is still in front by half a boat length. And sandwiched between them, it's Kjetil Borg, who doesn't look that brilliant, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. He is comfortably in third position. Fourth is the young Danish sculler, which you mentioned, Camilla, Bastian Secher, and he is having a great tussle with George Bourne from Great Britain, who seemed to have dropped his rate a bit. I think he knows he's going to the B final, and Vertain Ferreira from Brazil in sixth position. So the top three crews, as we would expect, Germany, Croatia and Norway, as they make their way to the Red Bull area. I think Oliver Seidler is going to walk away with the win, but I am pleasantly surprised by the shape in which Damien Martin is rowing at this semi-final. He looks really good, so I'm already looking forward to the A final tomorrow.
Tim, I think you're pleasantly surprised, and I think he is too. He's making his comeback. He had that great race in Zagreb in front of his home crowd, and I think that's given him a little boost of confidence as he's come here to Sabaudia, and he's just trying to keep a little bit of contact with Ollie Seidler as they come into the final 250 meters.
250 metri al traguardo, si inizia a volare. Guardate che spettacolo, se davanti c'è il campione d'Europa e del mondo alle calcagne, Damien Martin, che è ritornato in ottima forma dopo una serie di infortuni. Questo atleta classe 1988, medaglia d'argento ai Giochi Olimpici di Rio per la Croazia, ritorna in forma e a 48 giorni dai Giochi di Tokyo si riapre la corsa verso un ulteriore sogno a 5 cerchi. Bellissimo arrivo.
Ollie Seidler glancing to his right, seeing that challenge from Damien Martin and just stamping his authority on this race. He wants to win the AB semi-final of the men's singles sculls, and it's looking like he's going to do it as he comes up to the line. That'll give him the first spot into the A final. It'll be followed by Damien Martin of Croatia, and then coming through in third is Kjetil Borg of Norway. Then we look back to the rest of the field. The second Danish sculler, Bastian Secher, coming through in that fourth position. Fifth will go to Great Britain's George Bourne, and sixth to Brazil's Vertain Ferreira.
È davvero bello vedere queste inquadrature che vanno ad esaltare quelle che sono ovviamente le espressioni dei nostri atleti. Intanto sullo schermo abbiamo la conferma, vittoria della Germania davanti alla Croazia, terzo posto la Norvegia, appunto per il passaggio del turno, l'accesso in finale A.
Up next, the repechage of the women's quadruple sculls.
Ed ora è tempo del recupero del 4 di coppia femminile.
In lane 1, the Czech Republic, stroked by Simona Paskova. In lane 2, the Netherlands 2, stroked by Bente Paulus. Dutch crew, a development crew for the Netherlands, getting some experience here in Sabaudia. In lane 3 for the Netherlands 1, stroked by Olivia van Rooyen. In lane 4, Hungary, stroked by Kitty Horvat. And in lane 5, Egypt, stroked by Iman El Shakarve.
lane 1. Czech Republic, the Netherlands 2, the Netherlands 1, Hungary, Egypt, attention.
And the shoes drop there at the starting line to allow these boats to get off the starting line up there. And we just see the ride with the Egypt crew off the start. Fantastic to see such a big contingent here from Egypt. They've got a big team here in Sabaudia. But getting off to the best start is that first Dutch crew in the center lanes. They've gone off like a rocket, about 47 strokes a minute from the Netherlands. And they get out to the early lead.
Una buona partenza, ma soprattutto un'occasione per andare ancora una volta ad assaggiare quella che potrebbe essere la finalissima di domani. Ricordo che per il passaggio del turno saranno solo le prime due posizioni, con l'Olanda lì davanti subito forte fuori dai blocchi, quasi a voler trovare la migliore condizione. Ricordiamo battute dalle azzurre ed ora c'è sicuramente voglia di rivincita per seconda e terza posizione. Attenzione all'altro equipaggio olandese, ancora l'Ungheria in acqua 2 e 4.
So it's first two crews through to the A final out of this first repechage in the women's quadruple sculls. They're looking to join Germany and Italy in that A final. The Dutch, I know, disappointed to be racing in this repechage race. They've switched up their lineup since the Lucerne World Cup, where they finished a disappointing 6th. And they've put Olivia van Rooyen in the stroke seat there, switched up the lineup, Nicole Bouwkerst into the bow seat, and they're out here in the lead as they come up towards the 500-meter mark.
Ci avviciniamo ai 500 metri, il primo passaggio, il primo crono con 1:34,28 è proprio l'Olanda lì davanti all'altro equipaggio olandese. Sono praticamente in doppietta e poi l'Ungheria per le prime tre posizioni.
So in that current second position into the A final is the second Dutch crew, just being challenged by Hungary here as they've gone through the 500-meter mark. But the Netherlands won out to the lead, Camilla.
Yeah, great sign for the Dutch here with two of their quads out in front. Like you say, definitely a disappointment for the Dutch at World Cup 2 to finish in 6th. So this new lineup here looking to get into the A final and up alongside the Italians and the Germans, who will certainly prove hot competition later on this summer in Tokyo. But the development crew for the Netherlands still holding their own there in second. It's going to be tight with the Hungarians, but I'm sure their stroke woman, Bente Paulus, sister of Olympic champion Ilse Paulus, and part of that Paulus trio of sisters. They're all medalists at World Rowing events from junior, under 23 to senior, so lots and lots of good genes in the stroke seat for that Dutch crew. The medical student setting the rhythm there for the Netherlands too at 35 strokes a minute as they pull back away from Hungary, pushing them down into third position, this Hungarian crew that sit in lane number 4. But a commanding lead here for the Netherlands 1 as they come into halfway.
Bene, siamo vicino al passaggio ai 1000 metri, gare interessante. Ricordiamo che in questo recupero per il passaggio alle prime due alla finale, ecco, passa l'Olanda in acqua 3 al comando, ecco, allunga il passo e si proietta con un'imbarcazione luce sulle dirette avversarie. Vediamo aperta la lotta per le prime due posizioni fra Olanda 2 e in acqua 4 l'Ungheria, che si sta proiettando a rimanere a ridosso dell'Olanda in acqua 3, che sta al comando nettamente sulle avversarie.
very audible, this women's quad race. All three crews in the centre of the lake, I think, trying to respond from pushes from one another, and it was actually the Hungarians, Esther Kramer in the 2 seat there, just taking her crew back up. They saw that the Dutch were stepping away from them, and they are responding. They're up at 36 strokes a minute, and they are gaining a bit more ground on the Netherlands too, but no one to challenge the top Dutch crew. As it stands at the moment, it seems that lineup shake-up is working out for them, Tim.
The Dutch crew would have been surprised to finish second to Italy in the heat yesterday. So it's good to see the European champions having another race and finding some more experience and speed in this new lineup by racing this repechage. But I think they would have preferred not to. But they look very good. They look steady, 35 strokes a minute, and comfortably in the lead. And it's a brilliant race between the development crew with 2019 junior world champion Lisa Bruinings from Njord Student Rowing Club from Leiden in the 2 seat there. She's having the race of a lifetime, because the crew from Hungary is pushing on and is trying to get that all-important second position into the A final. It's less than half a canvas between them as they come towards the finishing line. The Dutch first crew comfortably out in front, several lengths of clear water, but it's bowball for bowball as they come towards you, Gillian. Who's going to take that all-important spot into the A final?
Oh, we just see Bente Ballas trying to raise the rate there. We know that she can sprint, but we're not sure what this Hungarian crew can do as they come towards the final stages of this race. Will Hungary be able to push back up on that second Dutch crew and find a spot in the A final?
In teoria dovrebbe proprio farcela con grande capacità, campionesse d'Europa, la voglia di andare a costruire questa bella proiezione, ma guardate, due equipaggi della stessa nazione viaggiare insieme a colpi diversi, ma sicuramente con grandi possibilità anche di nuove combinazioni. È così che l'Olanda si proietta verso il traguardo, conquistando i 2 spot validi per l'accesso in finale. Riuscirà l'Olanda a centrare la doppietta oppure rientrerà ancora l'Ungheria? Attenzione, una gara veramente difficilissima quando mancano 150 metri.
The first Dutch boat comfortably out to the lead, but Hungary behind them has gone up to 38 strokes a minute. The second Dutch boat has gone up to 38 strokes a minute. Hungarians up to 39 strokes a minute as they're charging towards the line. I'm not sure which of these two crews is going to grab that spot into the A final. The Netherlands one looking set out in the lead, and I think as they come up to the line, it might just be Hungary with the better boat speed to come across the line and take that second spot, but it's very close. I think it's Hungary that's done it across the line ahead of the Netherlands to go into the A final, but I will confirm that as it comes up on the screen. Then we look back to the Czech Republic. They will come through in that 4th position, going through to the B final of the women's quadruple sculls, and coming through in 5th is Egypt.
Una gara veramente veloce, ma soprattutto una rimonta di quelle che ti ricordi per sempre. Non perché sia andata bene o male, ma semplicemente perché queste rimonte spesso bruciano e bruciano tanto. Vittoria quindi per l'Olanda, a seguire l'Ungheria per il passaggio del turno. In finale B invece l'equipaggio 2 dell'Olanda e la Repubblica Ceca.
Confirming those spots, the first Dutch crew coming across in 1st, and they will go through to the A final. They will be joined by Hungary, who came across in 2nd, just pipping the second Dutch crew at the line. They will go through to the B final together with the Czech Republic and Egypt. Up next, the second repechage of the women's quadruple sculls. In lane 1, Poland 2. In lane 2, Norway. In lane 3, Poland 1. And in lane 4, Italy 2. This race already underway. A very quick start there out on the water from the first Polish crew. Another crew that might have been disappointed to land in the repechage race here. They'll definitely be wanting to make the most of it and claim one of those 2 spots into the A final.
Ancora una volta un'occasione di recupero, l'ultimo di giornata, perché poi inizieremo le finalissime e quindi sarà l'occasione per andare ad assegnare le prime medaglie con Polonia, Norvegia, Polonia e ancora l'Italia, le azzurre. Ricordiamo ancora Carmela Pappalardo, Elisa Mondelli, Linda De Filippis e Ludovica Serafini, 4 equipaggi per le prime 2 posizioni.
So again, just 2 through to the A final in this race, and right now those 2 positions are with Poland 1 and then a very tight race behind them between Italy 2 and Norway, and actually Poland 2 just hanging on there in the mix as well. So a very tight race for that second spot, but the first Polish crew really getting out to the lead here. They are silver medalists from back in 2019 at the World Rowing Championships, but they've struggled throughout this 2021 season, and they're hoping to find their form here in Sabaudia before they head on to Tokyo. But as they come up to the 500-meter mark, Camilla, how does it look out there on the water?
It looks, it does look very calm. I think the sun's just poked back behind the clouds. But in terms of the crews, it is, as we'd expect, the Polish crew out in front, stroked by Katarzyna Zillman, a very experienced stroke indeed. And she did lead this crew to that silver medal in Linz back in 2019. And in the process, qualifying this boat for Tokyo for the Polish rowing team. So they are a very experienced crew. We'd expect to see them out in front ahead of some of the less experienced field that they have behind them. And as it stands at the moment, it is still the second Polish crew, actually, Poland 2, that slot into second place. It's a bit like the Dutch that we saw in the previous repechage. 2 crews from the same country demonstrating their depth and strength in the women's quadruple sculls. So it's Poland 1 ahead of Poland 2 as they come in towards the 1,000-meter marker, leaving both Italy and Norway scrapping 3/4 of a length back, but they are pushing indeed. Norway pushing now onto the second Polish crew.
Bene, siamo vicino al passaggio ai 1000 metri, vediamo interessante questo secondo recupero del 4 di coppia senior, vediamo le azzurre che nella prima fase si sono portate fra le prime posizione, sta allungando alla grande la Polonia in acqua 3, proiettandosi al passaggio ai 1000 metri al comando, con Polonia anche in acqua 1 per la seconda, a seguire la Norvegia e l'Italia appaiate. Vediamo, cerca di recuperare, rimontare, incrementa il passaggio in acqua l'Italia di Pappalardo, Mondelli, De Filippis, Serafini. Ecco, siamo in chiusura del prima parte dei 1000 metri di gara. Prosegue la corsa alla grande la Polonia in acqua 3, che si è portata con 2 lunghezze di vantaggio. Vediamo sulle altre avversarie, terza e quarta posizione, con Italia che sta cercando di crescere, attaccare, rimanere. Vediamo attaccate le 2, Polonia in acqua 1 e Norvegia, ma sarà dura e interessante vedere i colpi, diciamo, finali, se riuscirà a tenere, a incrementare e riuscire a rimanere per il passaggio alla finale.
Well, the contrast in power between Poland 1 and the rest of the field is very apparent. They're a very well-drilled, very experienced crew, and so powerful you can hear them from the side of the lake, their blades moving in and out of the water. But behind them, it's all hotting up, because the race for that second spot through to the A final could go to any 3 of Poland 2, Italy 2 or Norway, Tim.
Yeah, and currently it's the crew from Norway with former lightweight Maja Lund in the stroke seat, who has that all-important second position. But they don't have it firmly within their grasp just yet, because with a little over 500 meters left to row, it's still everything to play for. And indeed, the second crew from Italy, stroked by Ludovica Serafini, who is coming towards the front of the race and putting pressure on the crew from Norway for that all-important second position into the A final. The Polish crew still looking very good out in front, just like the Dutch crew we saw in the previous repechage. Several lengths of clear water between them and the chasing pack, but I think the momentum is with the Azzurri at this stage, which will please the home crowd. They actually gone for a massive change of gear, up to 38 strokes a minute, and the crew from Norway going with them. The second Polish crew dropping back, but it's going to be a fabulous final for the place into the A final tomorrow.
Absolutely, Tim. That second spot into the A final is the one that's so hotly contested in both of these repechage races. And I think Italy trying to push back up on Norway, but they haven't quite done it yet.
Un arrivo di quelli che potresti ricordarti per sempre. Le azzurre sono lì e ovviamente a fare la differenza potrebbero essere anche i tifosi da casa. In questo momento Carmela Pappalardo, Elisa Mondelli, Linda De Filippis e Ludovica Serafini cercano di recuperare questo 1,5 metri che le separa dalla qualifica per la finale A. Al comando continua la corsa oramai solitaria, le abbiamo viste protagoniste per tutto il percorso della Polonia, ma attenzione perché per la seconda posizione possono rientrare le azzurre. Le azzurre in questi ultimi 150 metri.
Oh, the Italians have gone up to 41 strokes a minute. They're desperate to get into that A final. They're absolutely pushing on the Norwegians, but the Norwegians are responding. They've gone up to 40 strokes a minute, up to the line. Poland's definitely set to take that first spot into the A final, and I think Norway is just going to hang on to it despite that fantastic Italian charge. Norway will take the second spot into the A final ahead of Italy 2, and then Poland 2 coming through in fourth. They will go through to the B final.
Veramente senza rimpianti, una gara meravigliosa. Ci hanno creduto fino all'ultimo centimetro, ma sul traguardo ha avuto la meglio la Norvegia, quindi Polonia e Norvegia in finale A, Italia terza.
We move to our first medals final of today, the A final for the lightweight women's single sculls.
Siamo arrivati alla prima finale di questa terza prova di Coppa del Mondo, la prima finale che porterà all'assegnazione delle medaglie. Benvenuti alla finale A del singolo pesi leggeri femminile.
In lane 1, Germany. In lane 2, the Netherlands 2. In lane 3, Italy 1. In lane 4, Poland. In lane 5, the Netherlands 1. And in lane 6, Switzerland.
Germania in acqua 1, in acqua 2 l'Olanda, in acqua 3 l'Italia con Paola Piazzolla, in acqua 4 la Polonia, in acqua 5 l'Olanda, in acqua 6 la Svizzera.
So they're in lane 1 for Germany, Elisabeth Mainz. She comes out of the European champion silver medal lightweight women's quadruple sculls. In lane 2, Iris Hoogstenbach from the Netherlands. In lane 3, representing Italy, Paola Piazzolla. Bronze medalist from the 2020 European Championships in the lightweight women's single sculls. In lane 4, representing Poland, Wiktoria Kolinskova. Coming up from the junior level. In lane 5, the 2020 European champion Martina Veldhuis from the Netherlands. And in lane
Germany,
6, Sofia
The
Mieken of
Netherlands
Switzerland.
2, Italy 1, Poland, the Netherlands 1, Switzerland. Attention.
And that's a green light for the first A final here in Sabaudia. We're going to hand out the first medals in just a few minutes. And getting off to the best start was Martina Veldhuis of the Netherlands, the 2020 European champion, definitely trying to see if she can find a place on the podium in Sabaudia.
Una bellissima partenza da parte dell'atleta olandese in acqua 5, l'abbiamo vista scattare veramente molto forte dai blocchi, ma parlando di rivincite non posso dimenticare questa giovanissima atleta olandese che fu oro ai campionati europei del 2020, bronzo invece andò a Paola Piazzolla, atleta azzurra, oggi in gara in acqua 3, quindi potrebbe anche essere il giorno della verità oppure il giorno della rivincita.
These athletes starting to settle into their race rhythm, and it is Italy who's poked her nose into the lead there, just ahead of Martina Veldhuis of the Netherlands, but a very fantastic field out there on the water in this lightweight women's single sculls. We've seen many of them race already this season at the World Cup level, and Sofia Mieken, the world gold medalist from the first World Cup this season, she's in lane 6. She's just trying to get back into contention, into medal contention as they come up towards 250 meters.
Mi piace l'azione di Paola Piazzolla che in questo momento è seconda, la nostra scudiera azzurra nata agonisticamente alla Lega Navale Italiana di Barletta nel 2008, lei classe 1996, ben 3 volte campionessa del mondo, oggi invece in singolo a costruire la sua carriera, vedremo davvero se riuscirà, ma il primo piano è tutta per l'Olanda, perché l'Olanda lì davanti continua a suonare la carica in questa del singolo pesi leggeri femminile.
So Camilla, Italy and the Netherlands making the best of it at this very early stage in the race.
Yeah, the first A final down the course, and wouldn't it be fantastic for the home fans to see a win here for Paola Piazzolla of Italy in lane number 3. She's gone out hard to try and push herself into the gold medal position, but it's being slowly chipped away and taken away from her through this second 500 metres by Martina Veldhuis, a very experienced lightweight sculler. She's now into the lead, only just in fact, with every single surge of the stroke between lane 5, the Netherlands, lane 3, Italy. It's stroke for stroke, and each exchange the lead with every single blade placement into the water. So these two out in front, fighting it out for the gold medal, but we've got to keep eyes on the rest of the field, and let's not write off here the Swiss sculler. We've got Sofia Mieken. She's, as you say, gold medalist from the first World Cup in Zagreb. She's a great middle section sculler, and I certainly will expect to see her challenging. Her boat speed now is up with the leaders as she sits in bronze medal position. But this race at the front of the field is stunning. These lightweight single scullers, Martina Veldhuis and Paula Piazzolla, still exchanging the lead with every single stroke. They sandwich Victoria Kalinowska of Poland. She's back in fourth at the moment, trying to fend off Elisabeth Mains of Germany in fifth. It's then the Dutch second sculler, Iris Hostenbach, that sits down in sixth. But the leading scullers, my word, there's barely anything to separate them.
Bene, Paola, vediamo in buonissima posizione dopo le prime battute, ha cercato quantomeno un passo ideale da rimanere un po' fuori dalla bagarre. Siamo vicino al passaggio ai 1000 metri, vediamo a condurre lei Paola Piazzolla sulla Olanda e si avvicina molto bene, vediamo la Polonia, ma è passaggio Italia con Olanda. A seguire vediamo la Svizzera che ha preso un buon margine di vantaggio sulle dirette avversarie e si porta in terza posizione. Prosegue la corsa magnifica di Paola Piazzolla, vediamo un passo ideale da gestire queste battute, ma non deve dare troppo spazio all'avversario. Vediamo, cerca di incrementare qualche colpo e sono sulla stessa linea con Paola Piazzolla, Olanda e Svizzera per le prime tre posizioni.
Well, I don't think the Italian crowd are going to like to hear me say this, but I think Piazzolla just looks a little bit rushed, and she just does look like she's tiring somewhat as Veldhuis now moves into a more consistent lead. She's consistently leading rather than that exchange of blows that she was having with Piazzolla, who's now pushed more consistently into silver medal position. But we still need to keep an eye on Sophia Meakin. She's just half a length back on these leading two scullers, and my word, isn't she a finisher? So there's the three leading scullers there between the Netherlands 1, Italy 1 and Switzerland just half a length back, and it's then Poland with just a slight bit of clear water back in fourth. They're coming in front of you now, Tim.
Yeah, thanks, Camilla. It's a wonderful race here, the lightweight women's single sculls, the first A final here in the third World Cup in Sabaudia. And it's, well, I think I know who's going to get a medal because we have three clear front runners, but I don't know for sure who's going to get the gold, the silver or the bronze. It's absolutely riveting to see Martina Veldhuis from the Netherlands. She is in front of the rest of the field, but her lead is less than a half a length over Paola Piazzolla from Italy, who is in second position, and the bronze medal position is still Sophia Meakin from Switzerland, and she is looking very comfortable and a bit ominous, to be honest, with 500 meters left to go. All these crews are absolutely matching each other for rate and speed. Half a boat length advantage for Martina Veldhuis from the Netherlands, but she won't feel comfortable just yet. We have 500 meters left to go, and I think Sophia Meakin just going for a slight, she just increased the power, and she's moving towards the front of the field, and going with us, I think a little defensive move there from Martina Veldhuis to try and get herself a bit more of a cushion in the final part of the race, but it looks very good. Thrilling stuff here in the first A final. So Martina Veldhuis out in front. She's first through the 1500 meters. Then it's Paola Piazzolla for Italy. Sophia Meakin in bronze medal position. And then it's, I think it's Elisabeth Mains from Germany in fourth position. But I think the three medals are already being given away to the front runners. But I think a good sprint from either one of these athletes can get them the gold medal with 300 meters left to go. So back to you, Gillian.
Thanks, Tim. Yes, I think they absolutely can. Fantastic stuff from Martina Veldhuis, the 2020 European champion, out in the lead there, just ahead of Italy. Can Paola Piazzolla do anything in these last 250 meters, Luca?
250 metri al traguardo, ci si gioca le medaglie, quella d'argento e quella di bronzo, perché l'oro in questo momento è appannaggio solo della campionessa d'Europa, l'olandese in acqua 5, ma Paola Piazzolla è lì, si gioca una medaglia importante, una medaglia che potrebbe aprire la valanga azzurra. Ecco Paola Piazzolla che incrementa ancora, ma la Svizzera attacca e non ci fa paura. E allora in chiusura per andare verso il traguardo, Olanda, Svizzera, Italia per le prime tre posizioni.
Oh, fantastic race from the Italian. She's gone up to 39 strokes a minute compared to Sofia Meeken's 33 strokes a minute as they come up to the line. And I think she just has managed to pull off that silver medal. But coming across the line, Martina Wildhaus winning the gold medal for the third World Rowing Cup in Sabaudia. Then it will be Italy's Paola Piazzolla taking the silver medal, followed by Sofia Meeken of Switzerland. Then coming through in fourth, we'll just confirm these positions as they come up on the screen. Poland coming through in fourth, then fifth will go to Netherlands, and sixth to Germany.
Dobbiamo respirare per poter dare l'ufficialità. Meno di mezzo secondo. Vittoria dell'Olanda, al secondo posto l'Italia con Paola Piazzolla, bronzo alla Svizzera in acqua 6.
Up next, the A final for the lightweight men's pair.
Noi siamo già proiettati alla prossima finale A, saremo con il 2 senza pesi leggeri maschile.
3 crews contesting this race. In lane 1, Hungary. In lane 2, Italy 2. And in lane 3, Italy 1.
Una lotta tra l'Ungheria in acqua 1 e 2 equipaggi azzurri con Giovanni Ficarra e Alessandro Durante in acqua 2 e Fasoli Mantegazza in acqua 3.
In lane 1 for Hungary. In the stroke seat, Kalman Furko. And in the bow seat, Ben Szabo. European champions from earlier this year in Varese. In lane 2, the second Italian boat. In the stroke seat, Giovanni Ficarra. And in the bow seat, Alessandro Durante. And in lane 3, the first Italian boat. In the bow seat, Simone Fasoli. And in the stroke seat, Simone Mantegazza. Silver medalists from the European Championships in Varese.
Hungary, Italy 2, Italy 1. Attention.
And they're off in the A final of the lightweight men's pair. 2 Italian crews and the Hungarians, the European champions. A fantastic race. Surely this will be.
Una gara di quelle che vuoi seguire fin dal primo colpo, perché non è solo una sfida o una possibilità di rivincita tra i campioni e i vice campioni d'Europa, Ungheria campione d'Europa, Italia vice campione d'Europa, ma al centro si infila una nuova formazione azzurra con gli esperti Giovanni Ficarra, già campione del mondo di specialità, e Alessandro Durante, che cercano ancora di andare a mettere le regole in chiaro. Bellissima l'azione, ed è proprio la formazione siciliana Durante Ficarra lì a fare l'andatura.
That's a blistering start from the second Italian crew. They've taken a boat length within the first few 100 meters. They're really going out hard. They're still at 40 strokes a minute, but as they settle into their race pace, I imagine these other 2 slightly more experienced crews might be able to work their way back up towards the front of the field, but we'll see how that all progresses as they make their way down the course. But what a fantastic start for the second Italian crew, taking a boat length as they come up to the 400-meter mark.
Una vittoria sicuramente che potrebbe valere tantissimo per questa formazione, ma tutta da scrivere con 2 chilometri da percorrere. Ecco quindi Giovanni Ficarra lì, il capovoga, che forte dei suoi grandi successi internazionali tra gli under 23 pesi leggeri, il doppio titolo mondiale nel 2015 e nel 2017, fa tesoro insieme ad Alessandro Durante lì davanti con oltre un'imbarcazione di vantaggio. Suona la carica e la sinfonia su Ungheria e l'altro equipaggio azzurro.
So, Camilla, this can be a strategy sometimes to take a very big lead in the beginning and just see how long you can hold on to it. But this is very impressive stuff from that second Italian crew.
Yes, indeed, Gillian. Actually, it reminds me of what happened in Varese at the European Championships, and it was in fact Italy 1 that went head-to-head with Hungary in that championships, and they did exactly the same thing. The Italians tried to get out to a really big lead, and the Hungarians just ate it down, and they rode through eventually and then won with quite a considerable lead. So it looks like Italy too has actually taken a bit of a memo out of their teammates' books. This combination of Giovanni Ficarra and Alessandro Durante do still lead with clear water, but it's just a case of how long they can hold on to this 38 strokes a minute that they're pounding down the course at. Looking back to the other crews, it is still Italy 1 that sit just in front of Hungary, but looking at the boat speeds, I don't think that will last for very long, because the Hungarians now pulling up alongside and performing that move that they did back in Varese to win the European Championships. But having a look at this crew now out in front, Italy 2 in the centre of the lake. Ficarra and Durante are still clear water out in front of this field.
Grande gara, vediamo già dalle prime battute l'esperienza dei nostri giovani atleti. Qui Alessandro Durante, Giovanni Ficarra, grande esperienza per lui, si è andato ad imporsi già dalle prime battute al comando al passaggio ai 1000 metri con l'equipaggio Under 23 di Simone Fasoli e Simone Mantegazza. Cerca di rimanere a contatto con l'Ungheria, lo ricordiamo vincitori ai campionati europei. Grande gara per Alessandro e Giovanni. Italia in acqua 2 ormai hanno preso un netto vantaggio, oltre un'imbarcazione luce sui diretti avversari che prosegue. Sarà interessante per la seconda posizione, lotta aperta fra l'Italia in acqua 3 e l'Ungheria.
Well, they're certainly not settling. Italy too, they're up at 39 strokes a minute. But I think the Hungarians wanting desperately to gain that water back, because they're still stepping on again. They're also up at 38 strokes a minute to the Italians, 39. They are closing the gap that little bit more. Their boat speed just ticking up ahead of Italy too, that have led for the majority of this course. And as they row away from us here, it's just a case of have the Hungarians left it too late to try and eat down this majority lead that Italy too has gained, Tim?
Yeah, it's a big lead to get back over the Italian second crew from Durante and Ficarra, who were the fastest pair in the test race yesterday, and they looked very impressive then. But I think the Hungarian combination of Szabo and Furko is eating away into the lead, but it's still a 20-meter lead at this stage of the race, and that's a lot of lead to get back over the Italians, who still look to be relatively comfortable at 39 strokes a minute, maintaining a good boat speed. But I think the Hungarian crew, very distinct fluorescent caps from them, very recognizable from my commentary position. They are coming back at the Italian crew, and but it's it's more than a length of clear water still, with 500 meters left to go. So it's looking very good for the second crew from Italy, with the slightly younger pair of Fasoli and Mantegazza in third and bronze medal position. So the leading crew, the Italian, the Azzurri, look very good as they have 400 meters left to go. I think they look very good for a medal, but the Hungarian crew is moving back at the Italians as we speak.
Yeah, Tim, it's been so impressive. Every time Hungary's made a move, that Italian crew has made a counter move. They've been able to hold that lead, and I think Hungary's desperately trying to get back into gold medal contention, but they're also very quickly running out of water, so impressive strategy from this second Italian crew.
Una gara di quelle che ti ricordi per sempre, perché per Alessandro Durante è la prima volta nella storia in maglia azzurra. Si trova a gareggiare con Giovanni Ficarra, atleta siciliano che oltre ad essere protagonista ai remi è anche allenatore, ed ecco che in chiusura cercano di fare la differenza, ma l'Ungheria si fa veramente pericolosa. Giovanni Ficarra deve cambiare marcia in questo momento insieme ad Alessandro Durante, la coppia azzurra, per andare a conquistare l'oro. Ma attenzione, l'Ungheria sta viaggiando leggermente più veloce rispetto alla coppia azzurra, che comunque accorcia la palata per andare a conquistare la vittoria. Guardate che spettacolo! Gli azzurri mettono le ali in questi ultimi 150 metri.
I might just have to take that back. Hungary's got up to 45 strokes a minute, and they're desperately trying to get back on the Italian crew. Can Italy too hold on? They're coming up to the line. They've got a bow deck lead as they come up to the line, and I think they've just done it to hold on to the gold ahead of the sprinting Hungarian crew. Italy 1 will come through in that third spot, but what a fantastic sprint to the line in this lightweight men's pair.
Un arrivo veramente in volata, un arrivo che permette per soli 14 centesimi di secondo di realizzare un sogno. Vittoria per Giovanni Ficarra ed Alessandro Durante davanti all'Ungheria e poi l'Italia ancora.
The victory ceremony for the lightweight women's single sculls.
Cerimonia di premiazione singolo pesi leggeri femminile.
Winner of the bronze medal representing Switzerland,
Vincitore della medaglia di bronzo dalla Svizzera,
Sophia Meeken. Winner of the silver medal representing Italy,
vincitore della medaglia d'argento, Italia, Paola Piazzolla.
winner of the gold medal representing the Netherlands,
Vincitore della medaglia d'oro, Olanda,
Martina Veldhuis. Let's hear it for all our medalists.
Applaudiamo le nostre medagliate.
Up next, the A final for the lightweight women's quadruple sculls.
Siamo già con un'altra finale, sarà la finale A del 4 di coppia pesi leggeri femminile.
Two crews contesting this race, in lane 1, Italy, and in lane 2, the Netherlands.
Due nazioni in gara per la medaglia d'oro in palio sul lago di Paola, Sabaudia, in acqua 1 l'Italia e in acqua 2 l'Olanda.
So in lane 1, Italy, represented by
Arianna Passini, Elena Sali, Greta Martinelli, Arianna Noseda.
two of that Italian crew, European champions from 2020, world champions from back in 2019 in this boat class. The crews up at the start line, just getting their boats into position. And in lane 2 is the crew from the Netherlands. In the bow seat, Maud Joostens, Mieke van der Mispel, Roos Duin, and in the stroke seat, Rosa Brouwers. This crew, a composite club crew, testing their international speed here in the lightweight women's quadruple sculls. Just 2 minutes until these two crews get underway. It's a very experienced Italian crew out there on the water. The Dutch, a little bit less experienced at the international level, and they've only been rowing together in this lineup for about 6 weeks. They brought this crew together after the national championships in the Netherlands, and they're just testing it out here in Sabaudia.
Una gara che di fatto rappresenta un po' una prova generale anche per entrambe le formazioni, con l'Olanda che schiera un equipaggio nato 6 settimane fa, l'Italia che riparte con Noseda e Martinelli, titolari del 4 di coppia leggero, laureatosi campione del mondo nel 2019. Vedremo chi riuscirà ad avere la meglio. In una prova generale l'Olanda, tra le altre cose, notavo addirittura curato i calzini per l'occasione, ho visto addirittura la scritta terza prova di Coppa del Mondo.
Italy, the Netherlands, attention.
And they're underway in this two-boat race in the lightweight women's quadruple sculls. We'll expect to see Italy get to a very fast start there, and they have. They've gone up just to about a deck lead in the very early stages of this race. This young Dutch crew just having come together recently, testing out their speed here in Sabaudia, and they'll have quite a challenge on their hands to keep pace with this experienced Italian crew.
Arianna Noseda, la capovoga della formazione azzurra, ha subito voluto mettere in chiaro chi comanda, partendo veramente molto forte. Le azzurre stanno viaggiando ad oltre 40 colpi al minuto. L'obiettivo è quello di prendere un'imbarcazione di vantaggio, ma l'Olanda comunque lì vicina per riuscire insieme a costruire questi 2000 metri. Le azzurre sono ben concentrate, buona l'azione, il colpo in acqua di questa formazione leggera che guarda lontano con l'innesto di Arianna Passini, atleta atleta della Canottieri Moltrasio, ed Elena Sali, atleta cremonese, che insieme alle due titolari di specialità cercano di costruire un'ottima formazione verso il futuro. Quindi Italia lì davanti, poi l'Olanda quando ci avviciniamo ai 500 metri.
So I call this Italian crew experienced, but I should note that they are very young, most of them under the age of 20, except for the stroke seat there, but experienced in the sense of experienced in lightweight rowing. So the Italians, such an experienced lightweight rowing team, and they're able to put together these fantastic lightweight boats that just win again and again and again. So Italy out to the lead here as they come up to the 500-meter mark. The Netherlands trying to stay in contact with them. I think that'll be their strategy through the middle section of this race as well. And I know the Dutch have been baking their own pancakes here in their hotel in Sabaudia to make sure they're well fueled for this race. But they've come through the 500-meter mark, and Italy out to the lead.
Abbiamo sentito anche svelare delle curiosità culinarie per l'equipaggio olandese, forte soprattutto nei pancake a colazione, sentivamo, ma le azzurre continuano lì davanti a fare l'andatura. Mi piace l'espressione di Arianna Noseda, un affare di famiglia, se pensiamo che anche la sorella si laureò campionessa del mondo. Bene, quindi lì davanti le azzurre, che con una velocità quasi identica continuano a procedere e si avvicinano ai nostri colleghi posizionati sul campo.
So Luca explaining there that the speeds of the boats were relatively the same, but the Italians have that nice one boat length lead ahead of the Dutch through the middle section of this race. They're coming towards you, Camilla, at the 1,000-meter mark. What do you see out there on the water?
Well, the Italians still out in front after jumping that start and getting out ahead. And like you say, both boats moving at a fairly similar speed at the moment, although the Italians just picking it up through halfway. I think they want to shake off this elastic band that the Dutch keep wrapped around the stern of the Italian quad. But like you say, such a young crew here, an average age of just over 20 in the Italian boat, struck by the more senior person in the crew, Arianna Noseda, just 23 years of old and the oldest person in the crew. But that's certainly not stopping them. They now have about a quarter of a length of clear water that separate their stern from the bows of the Dutch crew. It was very close in this race yesterday, just 1.85 seconds separating them in the test race. So I will expect a response from the Dutch. But yeah, a really good rhythm here being set out and a really strong finish coming through and pulling the blades through from the Italian crew.
Grande gara, vediamo partenza alla grande per le giovanissime qui dell'Italia in Acqua 1, Arianna Passini, Elena Sali, Greta Martinelli ed Arianna Noseda. Grande esperienza di Arianna Noseda, capovoga di questa imbarcazione, che ha voluto già dalle prime battute proiettarsi al comando e crescendo man mano colpo su colpo. Al passaggio qui con circa una lunghezza di vantaggio ai 1000 metri sta proseguendo per proiettarsi alla vittoria, alla medaglia d'oro di questa terza prova di Coppa del Mondo qui a Sabaudia.
Well, I think that the test race was very close, but it seems to me like the Italians have stepped up to their game here with the A final and a gold medal at stake. They want to show off in front of the home fans here in Sabaudia. They're absolutely relishing every moment out there on the water, and I think they're looking very good to take the win here in this A final of the lightweight women's quad sculls, Tim.
Yes, Camilla, they're absolutely walking away in the third 500 meters of this race. The Azzurri with that experienced stern pair in the lightweight women's quad. They were actually European champions in this event in 2020, and a year before that in 2019 they were under 23 world champions. So a lot of experience and some gold medals already in this crew from Italy, and I think they're going to add to that gold medal tally in I think a minute or less than a minute and a half, I think, as they power down to the finishing line. The Dutch just trying to get back up on the crew from Italy. They're actually overrating the Italian crew, but they are way back and well out of contention unless something very dramatic happens in the final 350 meters. But the Azzurri looking very good for gold on home water as they approach you, Gillian, at the finish.
Thanks, Tim. I've just seen the Dutch try to raise their rate there, try to go up a bit higher in speed, but I think the Italians are able to respond. As you mentioned, they've just got about open water back to the Dutch to claim this gold medal here in Sabaudia.
Un sogno che diventa realtà, queste giovani cavaliere che riescono in tutto il mondo a farsi valere e qui a Sabaudia a dimostrare di avere una marcia in più. Bellissima l'azione di Arianna Passini con nella sali Greta Martinelli e la capovoga Arianna Noseda che vanno ancora ad allungare il margine di vantaggio sull'Olanda. Bellissima l'azione delle azzurre, veramente su un altro pianeta, regalare un oro preziosissimo per l'Itarremo.
A fantastic race from the Italians here as they come up to the line the last few strokes here before they can officially take that gold medal at the World Rowing Cup 3. But they're coming up to the line looking very good to take gold here as we hear the buzzer go off. That's gold for Italy and the Netherlands coming through in that silver medal position.
Sul traguardo la conferma, la gioia mista alla fatica, un sogno che diventa realtà, vincere una Coppa del Mondo. Ben fatto alle azzurre, Passini, Sali, Martinelli e Noseda davanti all'Olanda, seconda sul traguardo.
The victory ceremony for the lightweight men's pair.
Cerimonia di premiazione, 2 senza pesi leggeri maschile.
Winners of the bronze medal.
Vincitori della medaglia di bronzo.
Italy! Italy represented by
Italia, rappresentata da Simone Mantegazza e Simone Fasoli.
winners of the silver medal.
Vincitori della medaglia d'argento.
Hungary! Hungary represented by
Ungheria, rappresentata da
Kalman Furko and Benz Zabo. Winners of the gold medal.
Vincitori della medaglia d'oro.
Italy! Italy represented by
Italia, rappresentata da Giovanni Ficarra. Alessandro Durante.
Let's hear it for all our medalists.
Applaudiamo i nostri medagliati.
Up next, the A final for the lightweight men's quadruple sculls.
La prossima finale A è il 4 di coppia pesi leggeri maschile.
Two boats again competing in this race. In lane 1, the Netherlands, and in lane 2, Italy won.
E ancora una volta solo due equipaggi a lottare contendendosi l'oro. In acqua 1 l'Olanda e in acqua 2 l'Italia.
Up there at the start line, in lane 1 is the Netherlands. They're stroked by Ben van Brussel. Composite crew again here for the Netherlands. In the 3-seat, Lei de Jong. In the 2-seat, Willem Boust. And in the bow seat, Stijn Konters. And in lane 1, the crew from Italy, represented by
Patrick Rocek, il capovoga, a seguire Antonio Vicino, poi Giovanni Borgonovo e Matteo Mulas, il prodiere.
The Netherlands, Italy 1, attention,
And they're off again in the A final of the lightweight men's quadruple sculls. Again, we see the Italians and the Dutch going head to head, and Italy gets out to a very quick lead here. They've gone up to 50 strokes a minute to get out of the starting blocks, and they've taken just about half a boat length in the first few meters.
Una partenza veramente esplosiva, quella del capovoga Patrick Rocek, che ha subito voluto portare il ritmo di questo 4 di coppia alle stelle, un 4 leggero ma che vuole dettare legge fin dal primo colpo, 44 colpi al minuto davanti all'Olanda che al momento è seconda.
The Italian crew has been making some changes to their lineup, but two on board have a European gold medal from 2021 and 2020, so plenty of experience out there on the water for this Italian crew. They've had to make some lineup shifts coming into this race today, but it certainly hasn't hindered them as they are to an open water lead ahead of the Netherlands.
Bella davvero questa formazione, giustamente rispetto alla carta dicevamo dei cambi di formazione con Patrick che scivola capovoga, al centro barca ci sono Giovanni Borgonovo con Antonio Vicino, Matteo Mulas il prodiere, una nuova formazione che di fatto sta dimostrando di avere tutte le carte in regola per essere veramente protagonista sul campo. Al passaggio ai 500 metri l'Italia è veloce, 1:28.86 davanti alla formazione olandese arretrata di 5 secondi.
Similar to the women's quadruple sculls, this Dutch men's quadruple sculls coming from the national championships. They formed this crew from the rowers that finished 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and 6th in the lightweight men's single sculls at the national championships just a few weeks ago. But they're currently in that second position with Italy taking a fantastic lead as they come up towards the 750-meter mark. Camilla, I think the Italians just can't be stopped in lightweight rowing.
Yeah, it's been a great morning session for them, hasn't it? All of these A finals coming down and these men's lightweight scullers looking to replicate the success and in fact probably have even more of a display of dominance here in this men's lightweight quadruple scull. They've led from the offset, stroked by the young Giovanni Borgonovo in just 18 years of age. He turns 19 in September, so a really great performance here at the helm of this Italian Italian crew. He's keeping them true at 38 strokes a minute. They've overrated the Dutch for the first 50% of this course, and they are just flying. They've got the drone overhead now as they move in towards the halfway timing marker, and I think it's just going to be a case of how fast they can complete this course in as open water sits around them. About 3 lengths of clear water, if not 4, back to the Dutch.
Grande vantaggio, abbiamo visto già dalle prime battute l'equipaggio che si è imposto già nelle prime battute in partenza e ha raggiunto, abbiamo visto al passaggio qui ai 1000 metri, oltre 2 lunghezze di luce sull'Olanda, con un cambio sicuramente è stato attivo a sostituire, a rimescolare un pochettino le carte su questa imbarcazione, ha preso veramente vita, ma alla grande vediamo incrementa ancora il vantaggio vicino agli ultimi 750 metri con Patrick Rocek, Antonio Vicino, Matteo Mulas e Giovanni Borgonovi.
So moving away from us and into this beautiful little tailwind that'll be picking up these lightweight scullers and moving them towards the finish line. Lovely stuff for the Italians, who will not be beaten in this lightweight men's quadruple sculls event. Almost a gold medal nailed on for this crew, and I suspect they're stepping away even further as they move towards 1500 metres and Tim van Vliet.
Italians are definitely moving away. Every single stroke they put more distance into the Dutch, who are struggling behind at 36 strokes a minute, and the Italians still going at it at full chat at 37 strokes a minute. No let up at all as they approach the 1500 meter mark, and it's the experience of the midship there with the 2 European champions from 2021 on board. They raced that quad with Martino Goretti and Niels Torre, who compete in the next final in a couple of minutes in a lightweight men's single. But Italy just stretching away every single stroke, and the Dutch crew with 3 guys representing the student crew from Utrecht Triton with Ben van Brussel in the stroke seat. They are really struggling to, well, they're not even maintaining contact. They're just struggling to stay in the same race. Absolutely dominant performance by the Azzurri in the lead, still going at it. So it's just another gold medal. It's pretty sure. I can't make it any more exciting than it is, Gillian. It's going to be a gold for Italy. Another gold here in the lightweight men's quadruple sculls.
Well, I think my co-commentator Luca is very excited about the potential another gold medal for Italy as they come up towards the red buoys. Just an absolutely dominant performance from the Italians.
Vincere in casa ha sempre un altro sapore. Vincere a Sabaudia, che ritorna protagonista di un evento internazionale dopo 43 anni, significa entrare nella storia della città e del territorio. Ed ecco quindi che ancora in chiusura si vola proprio con questa formazione azzurra. Lì davanti a fare l'andatura sono Patrick Rocek, Giovanni Borgonovo, Antonio Vicino e Matteo Mulas, i veri cavalieri del 4 leggero maschile.
Up to the line now, and Italy will take the gold medal here in the lightweight men's quadruple sculls. The Netherlands, fantastic international experience for them here in Sabaudia. They will come through to the line with the silver medal.
Sul traguardo abbiamo quindi l'ufficialità. Vittoria, oro agli azzurri, argento all'Olanda.
The victory ceremony for the lightweight women's quadruple sculls.
Cerimonia di premiazione 4 di coppia pesi leggeri femminile.
Winners of the silver medal.
Vincitori della medaglia d'argento.
The Netherlands. The Netherlands represented by
Olanda, rappresentata da
Rosa Brouwers. Roos Down. Mieke van der Mispel. And Maud Joostens. Winners of the gold medal.
vincitori della medaglia d'oro.
Italy. Italy represented by
Italia, rappresentata da Arianna Noseda. Arianna Passini. Greta Martinelli. Elena Sali.
Let's hear it for all our medalists.
Applaudiamo le nostre medagliate.
Up next, the last A final of the day, the A final of the lightweight men's single sculls.
Siamo arrivati al termine di questa giornata della Coppa del Mondo con l'ultima finale A, quella riservata al singolo pesi leggeri maschile.
In lane 1, Hungary won. In lane 2, Italy won. In lane 3, Italy 2. In lane 4, Slovenia. In lane 5, Norway. And in lane 6, Sweden.
La gara della rivincita, potrei dire così, tra due atleti azzurri, Nils Torre e Martino Goretti, ricordiamo primi e secondi a Lucerna, Ungheria in acqua 1, Italia in acqua 2 e 3, Slovenia in acqua 4, Norvegia in acqua 5 Svezia in acqua 6.
So in lane 1 for Hungary, Peter Galambos. He's European champion from Varese, racing here in lane 1. In lane 1, in lane 2, Italy won. Nils Torre. He was first at the World Cup just a few weeks ago in Lucerne, ahead of Martino Goretti, his teammate. Martino Goretti there in lane 3, the defending world champion in this boat class. Athletes just getting locked on there at the starting blocks. In lane 4, representing Slovenia, Rajko Hrvat. He has a few medals from back in 2019. He's just finding his form again this year. In lane 5 for Norway, Ask Jarl Chum. And in lane 6, representing Sweden, Ahmed Rapi. Final preparations at the start line, getting all the boats into the shoes. They will drop down just before the boats get off the start line, giving them the signal to go. The last day final today in the single sculls. Just one of them out there on the water, having to find their own focus, their own drive to get them to the finish line.
Hungary 1, Italy 1, Italy 2, Slovenia, Norway, Sweden. Attention.
And they're off. That was the green light for the last A final of today. The lightweight men's single sculls is underway. We're looking forward to a fantastic race out there on the water. We saw Martino Goretti and Nils Torre come first and second at the World Rowing Cup in Lucerne just a few weeks ago, and I wonder if they'll finish in those positions today.
Sarà la gara della rivincita, esattamente così. Bella questa ultima finale di giornata. È il singolo pesi leggeri maschile. Partenza sicuramente esplosiva per Martino Goretti, che a 40 colpi al minuto prova a portarsi subito in testa, seguito e tallonato dallo svedese in acqua 6 e poi Nils Torre in acqua 2. Queste le prime tre posizioni a 200 metri dalla partenza.
So Martino Goretti getting off with the best start there, seeing if he can get the early lead and hold off any potential challenges from his countryman Nils Torre, the younger athlete out there on the water. But now riding with Martino Goretti, and they're all up over 40 strokes a minute out there on the water. No one has really settled into that race pace as they come up to the 400-meter mark.
Ci avviciniamo ai 400 metri, Martino Goretti lì davanti a fare l'andatura con i suoi remi magici, si avvicina al passaggio dei 500 metri provando a mettere a distanza Nils Torre, il vero pericolo. Ricordiamo Lucerna primi e secondi in Coppa del Mondo, ma Martino Goretti, non possiamo dimenticarlo, è ancora campione del mondo in carica e quindi sicuramente venderà cara la pelle. Quindi passaggio azzurro in prima e seconda posizione, Martino Goretti lì a comandare, poi Nils Torre in seconda posizione.
So Martino Goretti across the 500-meter mark in that first place. But as I'm talking, Niels Tore making his push there, trying to get back up on that early lead from Goretti. And then behind him, it's a very close race for that bronze medal. Still a lot to play as they come towards you, Camilla.
Thanks, Gillian. Yes, and actually I was saying what a strange thing to see there from Niels Tore. After his starting sequence, he actually went up in rating rather than settled down. He went up to 40 strokes a minute after the start just to try and keep with his countryman Martino Goretti. My co-commentator here has got his money on Goretti, certainly. He said he thought he was looking fantastic, and he's certainly running true to that prediction as it stands at the moment. He's at 36 strokes a minute here and out at the front of the field. It's creating a beautiful chevron and arrowhead pointing towards the finish line, with Goretti in the centre lane in first, ahead of Niels Tore, also for Italy in second. A great fight for third, which is currently being held down by the 34-year-old Rajko Hrvat for Slovenia. We've not seen any really stellar performances from him since a medal at the 2016 European Championships, and he's looking to get back on terms with these leaders from Italy. But he's going to have to face off with Peter Galambos of Hungary, who's also riding up there, challenging for third and fourth. But a great move here. Here comes Niels Tore. He takes a look over his right-hand shoulder to see Goretti still within reach. He's gained even more distance and starting to pull alongside at this halfway point. And we certainly know between these two there will be a fight to the line. It's a quarter of a length now for Goretti ahead of Niels Tore.
C'è una lotta continua, vediamo colpo su colpo, ma è ancora Martino Goretti a prevalere sulle palate di Tore Nielsen. Vediamo Tore Nielsen nella posizione secondo nell'attuale posizione. Vediamo, prosegue la corsa, ma è l'attacco incessante di Martino Goretti al comando. Buona la posizione anche di Rajko a Slovenia, che si sta portando, vediamo, affiancato a Martino Goretti, che ancora conduce alla grande e sempre prosegue la lotta, diciamo, di Niels Tore alla ricerca di rimanere a contatto fino alle ultime battute. Una rivincita sicuramente che vuole essere fatta a tutti i costi in questa gara qui della terza Coppa Sabaudia della Coppa del Mondo.
I had to do a rate check there on Rajko Hrvat of Slovenia as he came past us. He was up at 41 strokes a minute, sitting in third position. But I must update you on the lead of this race, because that little move that we saw from Niels Tore at the halfway has paid off. He's now pulled into the lead as they head towards 600 metres to go, Tim.
It's a quarter length for the young Italian scholar Niels Tore. He's just about in the lead, and he's made a brilliant move. Although he is overrating Martino Goretti at this stage of the race, it's a very handy move to make in the third quarter. But Martino Goretti certainly not letting him go. He's also raced the rate 36 strokes a minute, and compare that to the very high rating of Rajko Hrvat from Slovenia, who this is his style. This is like 40 strokes a minute all the way down the course. But Niels Tore moving into a half a length lead with 500 meters to go. It looks very good for Niels Tore at this stage. He got a gold in Lucerne, and Martino Goretti got the silver. And I think if he can keep this up, he will be looking at the same result for Italy 1 and Italy 2. So a great race behind them. A scrap for the minor places. The European champion Peter Galambos in fourth position, or perhaps even fifth, but the race is out in front. Martino Goretti going absolutely nuts, and for that gold medal. But he has some work to do, because Niels Tore is walking away from him with 300 meters still left to go.
Oh, it's fantastic to see these two Italian scullers out there on the water. The teammates, Martino Goretti and Niels Tore, battling it out there. But Rajko Hrvat making a big move here, trying to get back into silver medal contention as they come into the red buoys.
250 metri al traguardo e ancora una volta Niels Tore mette il turbo, è capace di andare a cambiare marcia ancora una volta. Una gara strepitosa per il talento di Viareggio, che in chiusura incrementa ancora il suo margine di vantaggio. Lui che quest'anno agli europei di Varese ha conquistato la vittoria e il titolo europeo in 4 di coppia, ma ora Sabaudia è il re della città con la vittoria del singolo leggero.
Nils Torre absolutely walking away here as he comes up to the line, looking fantastic out there in the lightweight men's single sculls, and Martino Goretti hanging on to that silver medal despite the late charge from Rajko Hrvat of Slovenia. But across the line, Nils Torre of Italy will take the gold medal in the lightweight men's single sculls. Martino Goretti claims the silver medal, and Rajko Hrvat from Slovenia will hang on to the bronze medal. Then we have Peter Glambusch of Hungary coming across the line with Norway's Askjarl Trom and Sweden's Ahmed Rapi.
Una gara semplicemente meravigliosa. Vittoria per Nils Torre con i colori azzurri, a seguire ancora un altro azzurro, Martino Goretti, poi a chiudere in terza posizione, lo ricordiamo ancora, i colori della Slovenia.
The victory ceremony for the lightweight men's quadruple sculls.
Cerimonia di premiazione 4 di coppia, pesi leggeri maschile.
Winners of the silver medal,
Vincitori della medaglia d'argento.
the Netherlands. The Netherlands represented by
Olanda, rappresentata da
Ben van Brussel. Lei de Jong. Willem Buist. And Stijn Kanters. Winners of the gold medal,
Vincitori della medaglia d'oro.
Italy. Italy represented by
Italia, rappresentata da Patrick Rocek. Antonio Vicino. Giovanni Borgonovo. Matteo Mulas.
Let's hear it for all our medalists.
Applaudiamo i nostri medagliati.
Please wait just a few seconds. We'll get underway with the medal ceremony for the lightweight men's single sculls.
Ovviamente continuate a rimanere con noi perché abbiamo ancora una premiazione per archiviare la nostra giornata, la Coppa del Mondo a Sabaudia. Avremo la premiazione del singolo pesi leggeri maschile, l'ultima premiazione di questa mattinata. Continuate a restare con noi per celebrare, festeggiare con i protagonisti del singolo.
The victory ceremony for the lightweight men's single sculls.
Cerimonia di premiazione singolo pesi leggeri maschile.
Winner of the bronze medal representing Slovenia,
Vincitore della medaglia di bronzo dalla Slovenia,
Rajko Hrvat. Winner of the silver medal representing Italy,
vincitore della medaglia d'argento, Italia, Martino Goretti.
winner of the gold medal representing Italy,
Vincitore della medaglia d'oro, Italia, Nils Torre.
Let's hear it for all our medalists.
Applaudiamo i nostri medagliati.
A big thanks to everyone for following along today. Fantastic racing and the first medals awarded. Plenty of Italian medals out there today. So fantastic stuff on our first medals day here in Sabaudia.
E con questo abbiamo terminato anche questa ulteriore nostra giornata alle Coppa del Mondo di Sabaudia, una giornata carica di emozioni, particolarmente di successo per l'Italia con le tante medaglie conquistate. Ci siamo divertiti, ma domani ancora di più ne vivremo delle belle per andare ad archiviare questo evento internazionale sulle acque del lago di Paola. A tutti voi un grazie di cuore per essere stati con noi.
We look forward to seeing you all back tomorrow. We start at 9:30 with the B finals tomorrow morning, and then the first A finals tomorrow get underway at 10:35 and run all the way through until 1:30. So looking forward to seeing you all back tomorrow.